Never before had a single season of Supercross been stacked with so much talent.
The greatest 250 in a long time as we take a look at taking off. Reed gets in tight, shows the wheel, and Reed gets the lead. And Windham's got a run on Carmichael.
Before the previous campaigns, it may have been possible to pick a winner. But the 2005 season had most people, fans and critics alike, stumped.
Reed, step off, they both hit the triple at the same time, they come out even.
No one seemed to have the advantage in such an evenly matched, star-studded field.
Reed makes the bobble this time. Now it's Carmichael with the incentive.
There was no question that current AMA Supercross title holder Chad Reed had all the tools to retain his championship.
You know, I think everybody's kind of making it out like the gloves are off. Everybody's going to come out swinging, and I don't know if that's going to happen.
But there was no way of knowing what would happen when he matched up with the deepest Supercross field ever, especially a returning Ricky Carmichael.
I get a little older and more open-minded of trying things and changing things to make the result better.
Carmichael was returning to the sport 100% healthy, and after an impressive outdoor season, seemed like the man to beat despite not having raced on a Supercross track in over a year. But Carmichael and Reed would not only have to watch each other, but would also have to be very wary of the new kid on the block.
I know if I get out front, I have a pretty good shot at winning races.
James Bubba Stewart arrived in the 250 class carrying with him a pedigree unrivaled in the world of motocross. His uncanny, natural-born ability had earned him championships at every stage of his career, and Stewart fans were confident that he would quickly rise to the top of the 250 food chain. But Kevin Windham could not be counted out either.
I want to go out there and give it 100% for myself, for my sponsors, and for my kids and family.
Also not to be overlooked was Travis Pastrana. Still having trouble finding success in the racing world, Travis would finish well in one round and then not being able to compete in the next. He would enter the season healthy, but could he harness his up and down results into consistent podium showings? Perhaps the most stunning addition to the 2005 season of Supercross was the return of the winningest rider in the history of the sport, the king himself, Jeremy McGrath. After spending a few years away, McGrath decided that it was time to thank the fans and return to his favorite tracks one more time.
I mean, I missed it. I missed being out here at the races.
The returning World Supercross GP champion Heath Voss was also along for the ride after what turned out to be his most successful season ever. The year before, the veteran racer had decided to begin the season in Europe in order to be eligible for the World Supercross GP title, since only riders who participate in the international Supercross rounds can lay claim to it. Riders who decided to race in the U.S. rounds only could challenge just for the AMA title. In 2005, for the first time ever, the most prestigious motocross series in the world was coming to Canada. Arriving for the first round in Toronto, Heath Voss was ready to defend his championship, but waiting for him was a group of riders that would be tough to beat, and Ricky Carmichael was at the head of the pack.
We take a look at the Suzuki starting grid. It is the Suzuki of Ricky Carmichael with that #1 spot. Jeff Gibson with a heat race win. And Cameron, we look at the rest of the field, but when you have first and second picks, it's kind of weird because first pick's on one end of the starting gate and second pick is halfway down.
Yeah, it's interesting. Ricky Carmichael's all the way inside on the left, or just about there. And then next to the box on the same side of the starting gate is Jeff Gibson. So kind of an interesting lineup. They didn't get right next to each other. And let's not forget Heath Voss is on the line as well. Our World Supercross GP champion, THQ World Supercross GP champion, and there, and
he's looking straight down to the starting gate. It is Kyle Lewis with the whole shot. Number 23 on the Honda, Carmichael in second, Voss in third, LaRocco with a good start in fourth, and he's going to be on the outside of Voss trying to get a pass, and LaRocco takes over third.
And Voss and LaRocco going back and forth. It's Kyle Lewis on the Moto Triple X bike out front right now.
Throttling down the four-stroke of Lucky, the two-stroke of RC Ricky Carmichael, and he knows behind it. There's no doubt that yellow Suzuki wants fine. Does he do it? The answer is yes. But will Kyle Lewis give him any quarter? No, but he still takes position.
And watch the whoops. Ricky Carmichael taking off. Remember how rough those whoops are right now. 20 more laps to go on those whoops. They're deteriorating. The lines are getting beat up, and look at Ricky Carmichael shifting around there. The Suzuki leading the Supercross. Suzuki hasn't won a 250 Supercross since Tampa of '99, and that was Larry Ward.
Look at this pass again, Cameron. Lucky a little bit crossed up and a little slingshot move by Carmichael.
Lucky couldn't get that step off, and then catches the safety barrier there on the outside. Ricky Carmichael by cleanly.
Lewis, LaRocco, Voss, and Carmichael trying to check out, and he is doing it. Here's LaRocco on the outside of the whoops.
And Voss on the gas through the whoops. Remember, Heath Voss was telling us his stamina is way up. He has way more ability to go farther in the race. He said before, 10 or 12 laps was my max. Now I'm ready to go 20. The question is, the two riders in front of him, again, we talked about how they're more coming back. Do they have that stamina that Heath Voss says he has? Oh, the Rock with a better drive there in that section pulls right up on Kyle Lewis.
Look at Lewis, Lucky trying to shut it down, but yeah, he knows he has company. The Rock, you're talking about three guys in second, third, fourth that are powerful riders. I mean, they are aggressive. They bulldog that machine no matter what kind of track you're talking about.
Well, the thing is, LaRocco's been watching Kyle through these sections where he's been right here, this where he seat bounces on her. Well, not really seat bouncing there, but LaRocco almost jumps all the way over. He's going inside.
Good drive. LaRocco's going to have the outside, but Lucky has position. LaRocco dives. Hey, they're being very cordial to each other. Very nice out on the track.
Well, they've been racing together for so many years, and both these guys have been around a long time. Look at that. LaRocco going triple. He's going to get by Kyle Lewis. Kyle not able to do that section. You see Heath Voss also rolling into the picture a little tighter on Kyle Lewis, and Kyle playing it safe, not seat bouncing. That triple.
And Lewis goes down. A little bit of a bobble. That moves Voss into third spot now. Timmy Ferry up into fourth spot right now. The factory Yamaha, Sebastian Tortelli all over him. Tortelli won his heat race a little earlier, and I think it gave him a little bit of confidence. Ferry, he's just happy to be healthy. Both of these guys are happy to be healthy. Ferry had wrist injuries last year. Tortelli the past 2 years with a knee problem. And here comes Tortelli. Tortelli's going to be set up to the inside to fourth stroke. Runs him high, gives him a little room though. I can't say I'd have done the same, but coming back is Red Dog. Ferry wants that position. Ferry is in fourth right now. Heath Voss in third. LaRocco has only Ricky Carmichael in front of him, but how about this Supercross season? They know they're battling for that championship, and with the field going to be so tight throughout the year, you do not want to give up any position. Heath Voss still in that final podium spot, but here comes Red Dog. You're talking about Privateer up against the factory. Voss with a little bit of bobble there. Now Red Dog sticks a nose in. Look at this.
Oh, Timmy Ferry hanging it out. Oh, and Heath Voss ending up a little bit wide, and he doesn't come off the bike, but catches the edge, maybe catches the foot bag on the tough block there, and Heath Voss feeling, Sebastian Tortelli catching the tough block, and his Makita Suzuki laying there, Sebastian getting up. That's the good news, but a big crash. I just saw legs flying there. Definitely a scary situation. We've talked about the ruts, possibly cross-rutting, and then catching one of those tough blocks and the cover over it.
Let's take a look at this one more time, Cameron. It looked like a bear trap with one of those tough blocks. The Yamaha tough block reached up and grabbed the Suzuki. Look at him, caught his foot.
No-footed knack-knack, basically, if you were a freestyle motocrosser, and getting off to the right side of the motorcycle, both legs, and dangerous. They're not only landing both feet into the ground, but when you're on one side of the motorcycle, still holding the bar, so tough on your shoulder. White flag is out. Ricky Carmichael starting off the season with the bang. We know a few people are watching at home. You see the whip there. I'm sure James Stewart and Chad Reed are tuning in.
Yes, I can bet money that they are, as well as Jeremy McGrath, Kevin Windham. These are guys. Oh, did you see that? The no-footed can-can. We haven't seen that from Ricky Carmichael in a long time. You think he's having fun, Cameron?
I think he's having a good time. Roger DeCoster might be having flashbacks of Travis Pastrana doing tricks, but hey, it's RC. They're bringing home the win, as long as everything's all good for a few more sections of the track, and Ricky taking a look over and
enjoying the moment, you know it?
It's happening.
The Suzuki era for Ricky Carmichael has begun, boys and girls. One more time through those rockers. 2 more turns away. What kind of trick do you have for us now?
That was Roger DeCoster coincidentally clapping there right before the finish line, it looked like. And
Ricky Carmichael takes his first win aboard the Suzuki at the Sky Dome in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. Congratulations to RC. What a win.
After the opening round of the THQ World Supercross GP, Ricky Carmichael led the way with 25 points, followed by Mike LaRocco with 22 and Tim Ferry with 20.
Welcome to beautiful Vancouver, British Columbia. We are north of the border in Canada for stop number 2 of the THQ World Supercross GP as we welcome you inside BC Place Stadium, home to the BC Lions of the Canadian Football League. But tonight, it is all about Supercross. There's Ricky Carmichael, his familiar mechanic, Mike Gosler right behind him. Cameron's still hard to get over seeing them in yellow, but that's the case. There's number 5, Mike LaRocco. The Rock letting out a big breath there right there as he gets ready. And number 27, Nick Way, also a winner in one of our earlier races. We take a look at our Suzuki starting grid. It's Ricky Carmichael, Nick Way, he's boss, Tyler Evans, Tim Ferry, Justin Buckley, Jeff Gibson, Mike LaRocco, Damon Huffman's in there, as is Kyle Lewis, Sean Hamlin, and Josh Hansen. Well, Cameron, look into your crystal ball. You had it right earlier. What do you think?
I'm going to pick one of those big Honda 450s into the first corner. Maybe Kyle Lewis.
250 main event for Vancouver, and look at this. Cameron Steele is on the money. It's number 23, Kyle Lewis, who picks up the whole shot. Ricky Carmichael currently sits in 3rd place, and it's 33, Jason Thomas in 2nd.
Here comes Carmichael. We'll see if Lewis can hold off this charge. You see Carmichael duck there from the ruse.
Carmichael gets a face of Roos right there. He'll go to an opening tear-off as soon as he gets the opportunity, but it is still Lewis out in front. And here's Carmichael, makes the move. Ricky Carmichael slides ahead of Jason Thomas. Now he's in 2nd.
Ricky Carmichael knows where to make it work. Kyle Lewis is not doing this quad. Will Ricky do it behind him? Whoop! So much commitment.
Oh, my.
But plays it real nice. Ricky could have come up onto Kyle Lewis, and even Kyle Lewis looked like he jumped down a little bit into Ricky, but he makes it happen.
It's not a question of if, but a matter of when, and Carmichael makes the pass right there, takes a lower trajectory on that triple, stays low, hooks up quicker, and now it is Carmichael to the lead. Lewis slides into 2nd, and Thomas still sits in 3rd. You are looking at a great battle right now. Heath Voss has slid back just a little bit. It's Thomas, Wade, Voss, and Huffman, the battle for 2nd, 3rd, and 4th.
And right now, Heath Voss needs to be really collected and keep it smooth. Damon Huffman has been around a long time, and he knows how to make the moves, how to get past riders when he needs to. He needs to be fast, but also smooth. And Nick Way, who you're seeing right there, the number 27 machine, he has been very fast all weekend. In fact, he was the 3rd fastest in the final practice, so that is quite a feat to be up there in those top 3. And like I said before, he thinks he's a podium rider this weekend. Now, what he needs to do is find a smooth spot to dive to the inside or the outside and make a clean line pass, but you can see him avoiding that little hole in front of the triple there, so maybe that mixing it up just a bit. And you see, again, Nick staying lower than what Jason Thomas is.
Oh,
he gets the line outside in on him.
Watch this.
And Carmichael getting set up. This is the tabletop to tabletop. Check him out. Looks like he cross-runs a little bit. Look at him. He's trying to weight the bike to the right with his boot coming off the side. Lands on the tough box. Holds it together. The champ nearly throwing it away. He's out in the lead. I mean, basically amazing.
Well, this is a battle for 4th place. Number 1 is Heath Voss on board the Yamaha. Number 5, the veteran, Mike LaRocco out of South Bend, Indiana, on board the Honda. And the Rock, don't give him anything because he will take it. So Heath Voss tries to hold off Mike LaRocco. Can he do it? They take a look at each other. Oh, my. Mike LaRocco making a hard charge. So Carmichael comfortably out in front with more of a 15-second lead. And just as we say that, Cameron, he almost throws it away.
Well, the one thing is, he's really doing that section he doesn't need to do. It's very risky, and I think maybe he's just trying to prove to himself, putting words on, I'm just saying what we're thinking here, but he doesn't have to do that. He could back it off and do what most of the other guys are doing, but he elects to keep just going for it every single lap, possibly just testing himself, getting himself ready to really attack every single lap, which he's doing now.
So it has been Carmichael. Welcome back to the circuit. I know as fans and as announcers, we'd love to see him there, but the competitors have got to be thinking, oh, great, Ricky's back.
And again, last lap, just showing, hey, I'm doing it. He jumps tabletop, steps off, as good as it can be done. Oh, and the no-footed can.
Thank you, British Columbia. He gave that one out to the fans on the back of his pants. It says RC, and then it says BC. Giving loud a little British Columbia love.
Check it out on the other side, the one-handed whip. Carmichael is in the house and in command, looking awesome.
Your winner of the 250 main from Florida on board a Suzuki number 4, Ricky Carmichael.
Thanks to his wins in Toronto and Vancouver, Ricky Carmichael was off to a fast start, becoming the first rider ever to win back-to-back international rounds. Moving back to the States for the traditional AMA opening round in Anaheim, the anticipation was immense. The most talented crop of riders in Supercross history were set to take to the track, but not until after Mother Nature had her way with it first.
Welcome to Anaheim, California, in the heart of Orange County, and a sold-out Angel Stadium for the 2005 THQ World Supercross GP and the THQ AMA Supercross Series.
Well, dreams do come true. I've been dreaming about Jeremy McGrath coming back. The 7-time champ is here, and he's going to be racing, and he's going to be racing against a guy that everybody's been talking about for years, the winningest rider in 125cc history, James Bubba Stewart. Throw in LaRocco, Pastrana, Ferry, Voss, Villeman, and Ricky Carmichael has 11 titles to his name, and oh my gosh, it is going to be a shootout. And hey, let's not forget, there's a little bit of mud on the track today.
The 32nd board is sideways. History in the making. The greatest 250 in a long time as we take a look at taking off. Carmichael gets a great jump, goes right to the front. Who will pick up the Butterfinger Chris pole shot? Number 4, Ricky Carmichael back in the game. Kevin Windham sits in second place, but it is Carmichael on board the Suzuki out in front. Windham is second. And here comes James, 259 is third.
And Ricky Carmichael getting the triple in all the ruts. James Stewart trying to dive inside of Kevin Windham. It was too muddy there. It wasn't a good line to go for, so you got to remember, experience may pay off. James Stewart going for his first win ever in the 250 class.
So Carmichael leads them into the green flag lap. Kevin Windham sits in second, and James Bubba Stewart sits in third. As we take a look at the Butterfinger Crisp replay, and you couldn't have drawn it up any better than this, Cameron.
Well, Ricky didn't have the jump. It was Windham. It looked like they had the jump, and then look at Ricky coming running up right down the middle and has a great line in the first turn, gets on the binders, grabs the brakes and up, and gets the line.
James Stewart went down, and that is Jeremy Albrecht trying to get it up, and look at that.
So James had, we talked about earlier that the handguards can cause a problem if you crash, and just there it looked like James Stewart's handguard maybe caused a problem with that throttle or front brake.
So James Stewart back on the horse again. Will he be able to track down Carmichael, who is well out in front by over 100 yards over second place, Kevin Windham. For a guy who missed all of last season, Cameron, this is unbelievable. But just to show you how great he's been running, he is about 50 yards away from lapping James Stewart.
And right now he's going to lap David Villeman, who so many people, including himself, picked me to win this race. And
well, I didn't pick him to win the race, but I picked him to do a lot better than he's doing now.
Oh, and Carmichael's down. Does he keep the bike running is the question. He's trying to pick it up on the uphill. He may need to drag it down, and he does. Still down.
Welcome back to Angel Stadium. Moments ago, Ricky Carmichael went down, and he is struggling to get the bike up. He's lost one position. Kevin Windham has gone to the lead. The problem is his positioning on the track, and the bike is dead, Cameron. He was unable to save the clutch. He got it kicked on the first start. Now Ricky's going to have to backtrack to spin the bike around.
Oh, Carmichael goes down again. And he's going to have to pick it up on the uphill again. He needs, again, watch for him to swing the wheel down and around. Carmichael had a commanding lead. We saw Windham go by. There's his mechanic, Mike Gosler, looking on, but one kick last time to start it. We'll see where Ricky is this time. Remember, he's shorter of stature. It's harder for him to get his foot up and over the bike.
Here's how it happened while we were in commercial. Carmichael looking good right here.
Cross ruts going around Villeman. His bike is on the uphill. He has to pull it down. Kevin Windham comes into the picture.
I bet he comes around that corner, Cameron, and says, I cannot believe after Carmichael had a 15-second lead that he went down. But you mentioned it. He could go down at any time, and it's a long race, and Carmichael finds out just how slippery the track is. Meanwhile, Chad Reed has found trouble of his own. And I'll tell you what, Ricky's words have proved prophetic, Cameron. You can't win the title here, but you certainly can lose it. Chad Reed gets the bike rolling once again. So as we sort through everything that has happened thus far, Carmichael leading for the first 6 laps. He goes down. Windham inherits the lead, and Ricky Carmichael goes down again, and he is slid all the way back to 6th place. They continue to move out in the mud, and it looks like that time Carmichael's caught him. The problem is, Cameron, when the guys are going down and you have momentum going, you don't want to dump your momentum out to stall and try to avoid a guy, so you just hope you can steer around him. Chad Reed now's got a smoking engine. He's got fluid just pouring out of the bottom of that thing.
Not only that, it looks like he's got a problem with his front brake. Now, I don't know if his handguard broke and is wound up in there, or if he's just got a bunch of mud. Now, look at him. He's holding onto the motorcycle so he won't get mud on his hands. He's holding that clutch down in that muck to try to keep the bike alive. Remember, the bike's already weighed 230 pounds. Add all the mud, how much does it weigh? This is a catastrophic problem.
This is an absolute disaster for their defending champion, number 22, Chad Reed. The front wheel seemingly has locked up. He is overheated. Look at the front wheel is not moving, and Chad Reed was in 2nd place. He is now sliding back, and Cameron, he is in serious problems right now. Meanwhile, Kevin Windham has had the good fortune of being out in front after Ricky Carmichael built an almost surmountable lead, and Windham now runs into problems, and he stalls the bike. And the problem is he's got a 4-stroke, and you know how tough those are to get going again. Ricky Carmichael once again is closing in. I do not believe this. In what could have been an absolute disaster for Carmichael, the turn of events are unbelievable. Carmichael currently sitting in 2nd, and now he is without his goggles. Carmichael, for some reason, has dumped his goggles. Talking to Paggio from Oakley, he said he loaded them up with 18 tearaways. That's the helmet cam.
That's the view Ricky's seeing. Oh, Carmichael goes down. Here comes Pastrana along the side there, but I don't believe that's for a position. Pastrana has dropped back.
But Ricky keeps the bike running, so Mike LaRocco slides in it. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. LaRocco's in 4th, Carmichael in 3rd, Pastrana in 2nd, and Windham is still in the lead. So Kevin Windham able to save that, but what a turn of events. Cameron, I don't think I've seen anything like this in a long time.
For sure, and the one, oh! Mike LaRocco doubles past Ricky Carmichael for 3rd place.
So Mike LaRocco now moves into 2nd place. Kevin Windham is your leader. Ricky Carmichael sits in 3rd. It's your leader, Kevin Windham, with half a lap to go. Carmichael got the whole shot, but Windham held on, made the right decision at the right time when Ricky went down, and he has not relinquished his lead. It's one more turn from number 14, and he will take home the prize. Your winner from Anaheim, Kevin Windham.
Well, Kevin went with 5 wins last year on the season, finished 2nd in the Supercross Series. I don't think he could have started it off any better. He's got to be excited inside there. I can't wait to hear from him.
What a turn of events for that man, Kevin Windham and his crew. They put in the work, they put in the time, and when opportunity gave him a just slight opening, Kevin Windham jumped on it and ran with it. And it was such an impressive performance. You had to be thinking about, well, Ricky went down, where everyone else has gone down, but he rode with confidence, he rode with skill, and he brought the bike home in 12 laps to pick up the victory.
This season's been a roller coaster ride, you know, and finished it out on a high note with the birth of my 2nd daughter. I'm super excited about that, and you know, just trying to put the chaos behind me. And this race tonight was nothing short of that. You know, I knew Ricky was going for it. He was doing the triple. He was just going nuts. He was pulling away from me, and I just said slow and steady, and it worked for me. And then with about 3 laps to go, I fell, and at that point, I wasn't getting the pit board anymore. I was just out trying to do my own thing. I didn't even know I was in the lead because I was on the ground so long, and then, you know, see that checker flag come out, man, it's just an incredible feeling.
Kevin Windham led the AMA Supercross Series with 25 points, followed by Mike LaRocco with 22 and Ricky Carmichael with 20. At the top of the THQ World Supercross GP leaderboard with 72 points was Ricky Carmichael, followed by Mike LaRocco with 65 and Nick Way with 58 points.
Welcome to Phoenix, Arizona. We're in the Valley of the Sun, the Bank One Ballpark, for the 2005 THQ World Supercross GP and the THQ AMA Supercross Series. And hello once again, everyone. I'm Todd Harris. Cameron Steele will join me momentarily. We have got a great night of Supercross racing for you here in our second hour. Tonight it's all about the 250 class, but the breaking news right out of the gate is James Bubba Stewart, number 259 on the Kawasaki, had this accident during the last practice of the day. Upon further review and upon x-ray, the doctors have determined that James does have a broken bone in his left forearm. It is the radius, and initially word is saying that he will be out anywhere from 4 to 6 weeks. It's the 250 main event from Phoenix, Arizona. We've got 20 riders going 20 laps as we take a look at our Suzuki starting grid, and right off the bat you notice James Bubba Stewart not there. If you're just joining us, a broken bone in his left arm. We wish him the very best. He will be sorely missed. Carmichael's here, as is Reed, Voss, Windham, Villeman, McGrath, Pastrana. It's a who's who of 250 racing, minus maybe the most flashiest and fastest rider in James Bubba Stewart. Cameron, what are Cameron's keys for the victory?
You got to maintain your speed in the whoops. They're a little bit tricky, but you got to go fast, consistent. You got to be good on your timing. Land everything smoothly and get going and strike quickly. You cannot wait. It's a very one-line track. If you're going to make a pass, get in there and make it.
Well, the track just had final maintenance as we take a look at Ricky Carmichael. There is the defending 250 champion in Chad Reed. Well, there are your past winners over the last 4 or 5 years. It's Windham, Lusk, and Carmichael went back-to-back, but we are racing 250 main from Phoenix. Ricky Carmichael with a great inside line, but it's Voss to the outside, and it will be Carmichael picking up the Butterfinger Chris pole shot. Ricky Carmichael to the front. This is oh-no time for everyone else. Do not let him get away if you want a shot at him. He will not make the same mistake he made last week. And look at Kevin Windham blitzing through the whoops. So it's Carmichael, Windham, Voss, and McGrath, top 4, with Chad Reed now in the top 5.
And it looked like Voss had an opportunity maybe to jump underneath Carmichael there in that turn, but he didn't do it. Wyndham is by, and Kevin Windham was the fastest rider in practice. And there goes Voss getting squirrely and almost going down. He almost took Chad Reed, collected Chad Reed with him.
Carmichael out in front on board the Suzuki, saying he'd want to give Suzuki a victory here in Phoenix tonight. But Kevin Windham is right behind him, and Windham is the winner last week, pardon me, in Anaheim, California, under very different circumstances. And look at the exit speeds of Kevin Windham. Look how he gets out of the corners.
And the difference in lap times in practice, 0.3 of a second is all that separated them. Windham just a little bit faster than Carmichael. And Carmichael unloading on that berm.
There is Ricky Carmichael, number 4. Kevin Windham in second place, and this is the battle we were kind of hoping for. It's Ricky Carmichael and Kevin Windham together again. Chad Reed trying to work his way through the pack, but right now it's the Suzuki and the Honda going head-to-head on a perfect track, and Carmichael starting to pull just a little bit away from Kevin Windham.
Well, one interesting note is Suzuki has never won the 250 main here in Phoenix.
Right, here's Heath Voss coming into view, number 13. Then Chad Reed, number 22 and 4. Then Ernesto Fonseca, number 24. He rounds out the top 5, and behind Fonseca is Jeremy McGrath.
Well, in this lap, Chad has moved up 1 spot past Fonseca, but he needs to get right past the number 13 bike, his teammate on the factory Yamaha. He needs to make quick work of this to get up to that lead pack. Those guys are running away. Ricky and Kevin are more than a full straight away from him.
And Heath Voss, this is kind of surprising. I mean, he is the defending THQ World Supercross GP champion. But here comes Chad Reed, this time to the whoops, got it dialed in. Voss goes helmet cam, and Chad Reed gets the pass.
Goes up underneath him, playing it pretty clean, but Chad definitely meaning business.
And here is Heath Voss and Ernesto Fonseca as we check in with Jamie.
Well, we just saw Ricky Carmichael and Kevin Windham lap Mike LaRocco. There's some bad blood going on with LaRocco and David Villeman. They took each other out early in the race. Once again, that's the second time tonight. Also, Travis Pastrana crashed hard. He rode off, favoring that left hand that's in a cast that was broken and dislocated. Tough night for Travis Pastrana.
There's Tim Ferry, number 15, behind him, the legend. Number 2, Jeremy McGrath. He goes for that high line, tries to slingshot around. Unable to get around. Look at this, right on the bumper of Tim Ferry, number 15, on board the Yamaha. Here comes Jeremy McGrath, number 2.
This is 6th and 7th place, so MC been saying he's got the speed to go top 5, he thinks, and he thinks he also has the training. And MC getting by on the outside. Tim Berry showing him a little bit of elbow in the corner. MC looking back. What up, Showtime's in the house.
Oh, Jeremy McGrath's giving the Lance Armstrong stink eye to Tim Ferry as he goes through. Now Ferry will try to stay with Jeremy McGrath. Good to have McGrath back on the circuit. Well, Carmichael got the whole shot, Cameron, and pretty much ran for 4 or 5 laps very tight with Kevin Windham, and now he's starting to pull a bit of a lead.
And the last time Suzuki had a win, we talked about how they've never won in Phoenix. The last time they had an AMA win was by Larry Ward, January 30th, 1999, at his home race, which we're going back to this year in Seattle.
Carmichael, he is stoked, pumping his hands in the air while he also runs an ESPN2 camera. Ricky knows what's about to come. Good to be back indeed, says Mike Gosler, but it is Ricky Carmichael on his way to a first victory for Suzuki here in Phoenix, and Carmichael did exactly what he wanted to do. He wanted to come here, he wanted to get a victory, as Cameron pointed out. He wanted to get the momentum rolling for Suzuki. Congratulations, your winner, 250 main from Phoenix, Ricky Carmichael. So Carmichael does it in Phoenix. We come back, we'll find out how RC did it and find out just how happy he is. Carmichael, your winner in Phoenix, leaving no doubt about it.
Carmichael is one rider that always gives us lots of bar-to-bar action, but last year he was out for the entire season and he was missed dearly. And Ricky, what is it like being a champion like yourself, winning championship after championship and then coming out and knowing there's no chance, it's not going to happen?
You know what, it was a tough pill to swallow. And, you know, but that's the way it goes. At first, I must say, I was like, man, you know what, I need the break. And then after a couple weeks of sitting there doing nothing, then I was really, really bumming. You know what, it was good. I recharged my batteries, and, you know, that's part of sport, I guess. Doing it since you were a little boy, that's your life. You got to get worn out at times or feel like you said, maybe you need to refuel those batteries. Yeah, definitely. You know, I had a good stretch of a lot of seasons and doing really good. I was ready for a break, I think. If I wouldn't have had a break and would have came out and won, I mean, there were really, you know, I probably wouldn't be here today. You know, it was a blessing in disguise, and, you know, like I said, I've been doing it since I was a little kid, and that was really the first real break that I've had. Last year you were on Honda. What happened there that made you move over and switch teams? You know, bottom line is Honda had the first right of refusal. They had the chance to do it and have me there, and they opted not to take that. So I had to go on and do my own thing. And Suzuki stepped right in and gave me what I was asking for, and you know, with the bike and everything. And I'm happy. You know, I don't regret anything. I'm really happy. I made my decision. I haven't looked back, and everything is good. It's something new for me. It's a new bike, and I'm back on the two-stroke, so it's fun. You know, I learn every time I ride the bike. I get a little older and more open-minded of trying things and changing things to make the result better. Yeah, I was just talking to somebody, and I said, you know, I miss Ricky's low bars. He used to run those low bars. People would say, there's Ricky, that's his bike. Nobody else ran it. What made you go back to more traditional style? You know, I think just you have to do that for Supercross. You're a little more relaxed, not so cramped up, and a little more up in the charge position. It makes it that much easier. Instead of the bars back and my elbows down, it's better. Let's talk about now getting your first Supercross win with a new team. What that's like. I mean, it's hard enough to come out and win a race, let alone with a new team and a team that hasn't won in 6 years. They haven't won a 250 race. What was that like for you? You know, it was awesome because you know, Suzuki, it's been a while since they won a 250 Supercross, so I was really excited for them, more than I was for myself. You know, they deserve it more than I do, and I was just really happy for them. I felt like I took a big load off their shoulders, and I think I gave them some confidence and telling them that their program is good. That's important for the guys to get a win. And, you know, but unfortunately in this sport, it doesn't mean much if you can't back it up the next weekend. So I'm going to try to get them another one. Now, coming into the Supercross season, of course, there was the most hyped season ever in the sport of Supercross. So many different riders. James goes out. He got injured, but that didn't
make the field any more less stacked, I should say. There were so many riders.
Definitely getting more competitive, you know, and all the manufacturers are putting more time, effort, money into it, and it's serious, you know, it's big time. It's a bummer that James is out and he got hurt because the sport needs all of us out there. But there's also other guys out there. So for me, I haven't changed my strategy at all just because Bubba isn't out there. So, you know, I have some revenge on Chad that I want to get back from a couple years ago. And, you know, there hasn't been much talk about Kevin, and he's leading the series.
Do you get to a point racing somebody for so long that you kind of can read them, you can tell, you know the mind games, what can push them off or push their button, so to speak?
I've raced Kevin for so long, I know his weaknesses, I know his strengths, and I just kind of got to push those buttons if you're at a disadvantage that weekend.
What's your favorite pre-race meal?
You know what? I used to be like really, really superstitious and had to get like the same thing. I don't have like if it's a chicken breast and a baked potato. You know what? My big deal now is if we go to, you know, the supercrosses are in the big cities, we just try to find a nice place to go get some dinner, whether it be steak, chicken, or fish. You know, go out and venture out and really see the cities.
So you're outgrowing the superstition because Ricky used to sleep in orange pajamas. No, I'm just kidding. You come out wearing the orange gear all the time.
Orange was my favorite color when I was a little kid, so I probably did have orange pajamas, for sure.
You can wear your own pajamas, don't they make like
they do. I look silly with that on, though. But
so no more color?
No more color. I was weird about that, too, a couple years ago. Orange let me down too many times, so I had to 86 and get it out of there.
And welcome to Anaheim, California at a sold-out Angel Stadium for the THQ AMA Supercross Series and the THQ World Supercross GP. It's one of those Chamber of Commerce nights, a picture-perfect evening. Go out for a little fly around the stadium. There you see our track and 50,000 of our closest Supercross fans. We take a look at our Suzuki starting grid for the 250 main event. Carmichael's there, winner last week, the defending champ Chad Reed, and Jeremy McGrath. Just happy to have him here. Hey, I'll tell you what, Cameron, in the heat race, he looked awfully good. 32nd board is sideways, 250 main from Anaheim. Michael Byrd getting a great jump, and Carmichael's right there as well, and Chad Reed sandwiched in between them.
And Reed having to let up just a little bit to play it safe, but he's on the inside line here on Carmichael, but he isn't able to do that obstacle, and Carmichael gets a breath of fresh air.
Michael Byrd comes in, so it's the American out in front, and two Aussies chasing him. Ricky Carmichael picks up the Butterfinger Chris Bullshot award, and this is watch out time for the rest of the field. Do not let RC get away. We talked about it before. He's got a master's degree in domination, looking for the PhD.
Well, Chad Reed making quick work finally getting by Mike Byrd there, but Jeremy McGrath is also in the mix there. Chad Reed needs to make a move to get up right behind Ricky Carmichael as quickly as possible and get this battle going. 20 laps. Well, 19 now.
An all-star lineup as Ricky Carmichael leads them through the green flag lap. Chad Reed's in second. Michael Byrd's in third, and here comes Jeremy McGrath as we go on board with Ricky Carmichael running the helmet cam. It's Carmichael and Reed out in front, then Byrd, then Jeremy McGrath in fourth as he takes a look behind. But it is Ricky Carmichael taking it through the start-finish one more time. Cameron, if it comes down to fitness, as you pointed out, it's a 20-lap race. This is a dead heat. Ricky Carmichael may train harder than anyone else, and Chad Reed is in incredible shape. As Jamie reported, this is the battle now for third place. Michael Byrd going through, and there is Jeremy McGrath. I talked to him in the hotel. He said he's the most comfortable he's been all year. The battle doesn't get much better. I guess we can factor in James Bubba Stewart, and that would mix things up just a little bit more. James recovering from a break in his arm last week in Phoenix, had surgery. It would be great to have him here, but right now we want to wish him well healing. And here comes Chad. Oh, and Reed is down. Reed hits just flips the top of that, Cameron, as he was blitzing through that whoop section. He flips it, gets the bike started on one kick, but he loses a whole bunch of time to Ricky Carmichael, and he's got an issue on the left handlebar. Unbelievable turn of events.
Look at Reed. He flipped one of the whoops and then tried to jump up and over. Had to throw the motorcycle away. He gets away cleanly, but you see the lever going down there. It's actually his clutch lever on the left side he was pounding on it.
Welcome back to Angel Stadium. It's the THQ World Supercross GP and the THQ AMA Series, and that is Jeremy McGrath getting the pass on Michael Byrd. So McGrath moves up another position. He is sitting in third place, a podium position. An unbelievable turn of events as McGrath 11-second lead on Chad Reed, who right before we went to commercial break had his problems in the whoop section, Cameron. He just flipped the top of it, and it really just changed the whole dynamics of this race. Larocco sits in 6th place right now.
Actually, with the new timing going there across the start line, in 4th place is Mike Larocco. So Michael Burns slipping back just a little bit, and David Villeman continues to try to push. He just hasn't been able to make any ground. In fact, he lost quite a bit of ground there to Mike Larocco, but these two guys seemingly staying very similar, Burns and Villeman. On the back of Jeremy's helmet, it says park time instead of show time. And right now, it looks like Larocco's going to get him in the whoop. No question Larocco's fitness.
Mike Larocco moves now and takes Jeremy McGrath out of podium position. So it's McGrath who slides back to 4th, and Larocco goes back. He's a 17-year pro, Mike Larocco. He's 33 years of age, and he's still got something in the tank. Jeremy McGrath clearly sits in 4th place, but anything in the top 5 for him is win-win as we go on board with Ricky Carmichael. Look at that lap time of 56.6.
Well, Todd, it was bad news for Kevin Windham. He got off the line in 17th. Remember, he had that big get-off. He's feeling very tired. Remember, he is the series points leader right now, but I have a feeling Ricky Carmichael's going to shake things up.
Kevin Windham now getting ahead of Jeremy McGrath. We talked about Jeremy's fitness level. Remember, folks, he is not riding full-time the full circuit, so a lot of his folks have just been doing well in Southern California and some of the other stops. McGrath, though, has slid back to 5th place. Windham has moved up to 4th. Kevin Windham is doing himself proud, Cameron, because he is the points that are coming into this. He needs to get on the podium south. Great battle now brewing on for 3rd as Mike Larocco is getting pressure from the overall points that are coming into this event. Number 14, Kevin. Todd Harris along with Cameron Steele and Jamie Little. Mike Larocco, who just got a pass on Jeremy McGrath, now has his hands full with Kevin Windham.
The riders talked about Kevin's style and ability in the pit more than any other rider as he goes underneath, and they both clear the jump, keeping it fair and safe. They're both ride for, well, not exactly the same team, but they're teammates.
Exactly. So Kevin Windham moves into a podium position. He's in 3rd. Remember, he is on top of the points lead. If he had not finished on the podium or down the back, Ricky Carmichael would open up a gap, something he does not want to let happen. Currently sits in 3rd, and there's Nick Wade. We talked about how fresh he is. He is moving up now on Jeremy McGrath.
And nowhere to be seen there is Michael Byrne. He slipped back to 8th place. So the big question mark here, can McGrath hang on to that top 5 with Way breathing down his neck? And wow, look at the great run Way has in that section. Jeremy is going to be protecting his lines. Obviously, probably the smartest supercross rider of all time.
We go on board with the leader. The victory in Phoenix was sweet. This one may be sweeter. Ricky Carmichael returns to the top of the podium in Anaheim, and I got a feeling we're going sideways with Carmichael. Your winner in Anaheim, 250 Maine, Ricky Carmichael. As the rest of the riders went through, a little more subdued than he was in Phoenix with Cameron, I think he feels fantastic, and I know Roger DeCoster does as well, as the battle rages on for that 5th place position. Nick Wade trying to track down McGrath, and the itch to see if Jeremy can hold him off. Meanwhile, Chad Reed comes through and wonders what could have been. So Nick Wade just going to run out of real estate here. He gave his best effort there on the triple, slides out there, and look at McGrath. He's going to protect this line, and Jeremy McGrath, well done. He takes off a year or two, comes back, finishes in the top 5.
After the 2nd Anaheim event, Ricky Carmichael led the AMA Supercross Series with 70 points, followed by Kevin Windham with 67 and Chad Reed with 47. Carmichael was also at the top of the THQ World Supercross GP leaderboard with 122 points, followed by Mike Larocco with 99 and Nick Way with 96.
Welcome back to San Francisco, California, the THQ World Supercross GP and the THQ AMA Supercross Series. Well, this is what we've been waiting for, the big one, the 250 main event. Todd Harris along with Denny Stevenson and Davey Coombs reporting from the field. As we take a look at our Suzuki starting grid for the 250 main event, Carmichael and Windham, the 2 fastest in practice, the defending champion Chad Reed also in there. A lot of great times have been put in tonight, and Denny, I don't want to put you on the spot, but the way the track is, as we look at your do's and don'ts, who do you like and who's going to follow your do's and don'ts?
Well, obviously, I don't bet against Ricky Carmichael, but it's about getting a good start. These top 3 guys got to get out front with each other. You cannot let one get away. You'll be ready to improvise. You're going to see a lot of different things on the track. It's going to be a busy night of racing.
This is the 30 board goes sideways. This is the 250 main event from San Francisco. Carmichael does not get the jump in once this time, and it looks like number 22, the Thunder from down under, Chad Reed's going to pick up the Butterfinger Chris Bolstad. Carmichael slides into second place, so it is somewhat of a reverse of what we had in Phoenix.
Reed out front, Morocco second. Carmichael, this is the race we have been dreaming for all year long. Ricky didn't get the hole shot, and Reed did. We're about to see something we've been waiting for, obviously. Ricky Carmichael, see if he can reel in Chad Reed.
On board with Ricky Carmichael, what makes this interesting is how quick Ricky can dispatch if he can get around Mike Morocco, because Chad Reed is on the gas and on it hard.
And Windham's buried in the 5th spot as well, so three of our top guys are in the top 5.
Ernesto Fonseca, who came out of LCQ right now, is sitting in 4th place, and then Kevin Windham in 5th, then David Villeman and Heath Voss, and we are off, folks. It's a good one. Get yourself some clam chowder and Red Bull if you can, because Chad Reed's out and running fast. Right now it is Chad Reed on top as we go through lap number 4. Carmichael sits in 2nd. Mike Morocco holding on to 3rd, and Kevin Windham now has moved up to 4th. Well, this is a great battle right here. And that's Mike Morocco, number 5. Number 14 is Kevin Windham. It looks like Windham's getting ready to set him up.
Windham threw down the fast lap time of the night in his heat race, but he started back in the pack a little bit, and that number 4 and that number 22 have gotten away from him.
Kevin Windham coming across that after that hard fall last week in Anaheim, California. Really wasn't sure if he should have ridden, but he went ahead and did it like a champ. Showed just how tough he was, and Davey Coombs reported it. He's starting to get a good run on Mike Morocco, and Mike, as we know, is one of the widest riders out there.
He's not only the widest.
Oh! He catches the back tire of Morocco, and look at this, Villeman almost runs him over. Keep the bike running.
That is the championship chase right there in the points on Kevin Windham, only 3 points down entering this race. Right there, a foolish move, tries to move Morocco out of the way and goes down.
Look at this. Carmichael now closing in on Chad Reed, so he's now closing it down to just about a 1/10 of a second behind Chad as he comes through. And this is the whole great white shark picking.
You know, I recently read an interview with Ricky Carmichael. Ricky said, you know, he definitely thinks it's sometimes easier to follow, but he'd rather be out front. Right now, he's in 2nd behind Reed. He's learning his lines, and he's wanting to attack fast.
Oh, my. He is shadowing Chad Reed. Remember, number 22 is the defending 250 champion from last year. Ricky Carmichael did not compete, and there you see it.
Now, what's the difference? Here they come to like last time Ricky was going double, triple, single. This time he's starting out with triple, double, single, looking almost the exact same as Reed, mirroring his lines right now.
Ricky Carmichael continuing to close in on Chad Reed. Reed picked up the whole shot, and Ricky, as Denny pointed out, is just learning his line.
It's taken 4 races, Todd, but we are finally getting the race we've been looking for all season long.
The only thing that can make this better is seeing a 259 and maybe a 14 mixed up in that fray.
Well, right now we'll take what we can get, and it's number 22, Chad Reed, looking to break this.
Oh! Ricky that time had a great run on the inside as we go on board with Carmichael. Just gave him just a little look.
They're taking some different lines right now. Chad's kind of chopping the corners where Ricky's trying to flow. And right now, Reed goes wide, opens the door. I don't know what that was all about. He had to know that Ricky was going to dodge the inside of him right there.
Well, Denny, the last lap, the roles were reversed. Chad took the inside line, and Ricky went wide. So I'm wondering if Chad's thinking maybe that's the faster line. I'll try that one.
But then here comes Reed up the inside.
Oh,
gives Ricky a love bump. Yeah, that was an odd. I would have never expected Reed to go wide like that and just open the door that big. I don't know if he just going to say, go ahead, I'm going to watch you for a bit, but you cannot let number 4 get by like that.
Right now, the lead about 1 second as Carmichael and Reed continue to battle. And Chad right now does not want to get desperate, but he's got to start finding a new line or something for Ricky, because they cannot continue to go around like this, because if he does, at the halfway point, it's all Chad can do to just watch Ricky ascend to the top of the podium.
Now, I think Chad has kind of stepped up his pace a little bit. We saw it at Phoenix last time. He'll go down. We were trying it, about lap 6. This time, Reed's already gone farther than he's ever been before. And look at how big this lead they've opened up. My gosh, what is going on with Mike Morocco?
It's an 11-second lead from Chad Reed in 2nd to Mike Morocco in 3rd. So Morocco sits in 3rd right now. And he is 3rd all by himself. There's a big gap, so he must feel like a man on an island right now. trying to track down Carmichael, who's in first, Reed, who's in second, and there's really no one behind him for a good 50 yards. And finally, number 24, Ernesto Fonseca comes into view, and he's got a battle right now with Heath Voss and David Villeman. Here's your battle for fourth, number 24, Ernesto Fonseca aboard the Honda, and the 12 Yamaha, David Villeman, 2 international riders. And look at Villeman, a guy normally this time to knock on him. Denny is dropping anchor, fitness is not there, and David Villeman saving the best for last.
Well, these are two guys that we really didn't see that much out of all night long. Right now, they wait and stepped up in the main event, and David and Ernesto both in 4th and 5th.
David Villeman in 4th place now. Ernesto Fonseca is in 5th. But Ricky Carmichael continues to lead with Chad Reed in 2nd. Mike LaRocco in 3rd. Denny, it's an interesting comment. Ricky Carmichael seems a lot more comfortable with his fame, and he's just, the maturity level is definitely showing.
He said he feels comfortable in his skin, and you know, we used to point at Jeremy McGrath where he's taken the sport. Ricky Carmichael is now carrying on his back, and he's doing it with a phenomenal.
He makes one more left-hand turn, and he goes into the history books. Your winner, 250 main event, Ricky Carmichael.
Knock, knock. Hey, K-Dub, how you doing? Good to see you.
Yeah.
How's practice? How are things going?
It was good.
So let's go back to the first mud race, Anaheim. So much talk, so much hype going into that race, and K-Dub was left off the list. What was up with that?
You know, I had an off season that was off. You know, I didn't do any races. I wasn't changing manufacturers. I wasn't changing to the 250 class, and you know, I was just at home and doing my thing. And I could understand why that wasn't really interesting to the news or to the media. So just sat back in my shell, and whenever Anaheim came, you know, I was ready.
We had a big press conference, if you remember, James Stewart, Ricky Carmichael, Chad Reed, that they left Kevin Windham off the list, and I didn't think it was too fair. So how did you respond?
Well, it was just, you know, it was good, you know, and that's what I expected, rain or shine, and I expected to be up there. You know, I was just like slow and steady, and I wasn't doing the biggest jumps, but just kept it on 2 wheels, and that was the biggest part for me and winning there. I wanted my results to give people something to talk about.
So you mentioned media a lot. That would include moi. So that means that you do listen to what we say, right?
Well, you kind of can't help to, but I got nothing but love for you, so I'm not holding any grudges against you or any of the other guys.
Now, the results that we've seen them up and down, either on the podium or pretty much on the ground. Any second thoughts of running that 4-stroke?
Well, I mean, to say that you don't second doubt yourself whenever you're hitting your head and you're crashing and stuff, it's, you know, it's a given. It just happens. But do I think that it's the 4-stroke? No, absolutely not. You know, we're riding at 100% of our ability, and I mean, there's no ands, ifs, or buts about it. And when you're off that 1 inch on a level that we're at, you're trying to hanging out to get with Ricky or whoever got the whole shot or wherever you're at, or to keep that lead or whatever. The cost is high when you make that little bobble or a little mistake.
He's not only the one.
Oh! He catches the back tire of LaRocco.
You have a family life now. You have other agendas going on.
It's been good for me. It keeps me focused, and it makes me want to give my all, because, you know, I'll be long gone with this sport and done when they're getting up in age, and all they'll have to do is, you know, look back at me as a rider and look back in the magazine articles and think, you know, Dad was good at this and he gave it his all, and had a lot of people appreciate what he did, and that means a lot to me. So I want to go out there and give it 100% for myself, for my sponsors, and for my kids and family. When I retire, I'm going to be a young guy again. You know,
yes.
It's like I'm going to go from being old in this sport, and then all of a sudden.
But then
you know,
what?
I have
That's
my whole
the
life
question I always have. You guys retired so young. Then what? This is all you've known your whole life.
Yeah, it's tough, you know, because during school I wasn't really into the dances, and I wasn't doing the football, and I wasn't doing this. I was racing. You know, I mean,
Were you into learning?
How to dance?
No,
How to
learning.
race.
Learning being at school.
Not that much.
Did you go to school for the dances and for the fun stuff? Yeah, for the ladies.
Pretty much. But school is important. Stay in school, guys. But I finished up with homeschool, so I'm proud of that. You know, at least I finished. Got my GED and everything, so that's cool. You know, it's just life as I know it. And then you go through all these steps, and then you become famous, and people like you.
You're
and
famous?
Man, not as much as you.
K-Dub.
Not as much as Jamie. But I did an autograph sign with her last night, and they're all, yeah, what up, K-Dub, whatever. Yeah, Jamie, sign this for me, sign this.
Kevin,
Yeah.
I think you're the one guy out there. I don't think you can retire until you win a championship, if I might say so myself. And I think a lot of people agree with me.
Well, I hope it don't take too long. And, you know, I don't know how long I'm going to ride. You know.
I got an idea. You and Chad get together, put together a big lump sum of money, and pay Ricky off and tell him to get out of the sport, and let you guys take it for a while.
I think we both want to just beat him straight up. And we probably don't have enough money to do that. You know? I heard about the Suzuki. But no, we want to beat him, and I think we can, and we will eventually. But it's going to take some more.
Good to have you back.
Good
Keep
to be
having
here.
fun.
Thanks, Jane.
All right.
After winning the last 4 rounds, it seemed like Mother Nature was the only one who could derail Ricky Carmichael. While the Angel Stadium track was dry for round 5, it was certainly not to be taken lightly. Featuring a split hole shot with multiple lines, this was one of the toughest tracks that Anaheim had ever seen, and it would make its presence felt early. Coming in from the other side of the split, Australian Michael Byrne edged Carmichael out to take the hole shot. Stuck back in the pack, Chad Reed became entangled with Ernesto Fonseca, and both riders went to the dirt. As the riders came together, Carmichael tucked in behind Byrne, changed lines in midair, and burst around the Aussie to take the lead during the first lap. Minutes later, the highly technical Anaheim track took 2 more victims. Kevin Windham went down in a difficult section, and Jeremy McGrath followed suit, crashing in the same area. Both riders were assisted from the track, ending both their nights. Meanwhile, Chad Reed was recovering nicely from his hole shot spill. The defending champion was charging hard, moving up from last place to 6th by mid-race. By the time he finally passed fellow Aussie Michael Byrne, Chad sat comfortably in 2nd place. But there was simply no catching Ricky Carmichael. RC had checked out to a huge lead and easily took the checkered flag, followed by Reed and Byrne, who had barely been able to hold off a last lap charge by Frenchman David Villemin. After the 3rd Anaheim event, Ricky Carmichael led the AMA Supercross Series with 120 points, followed by Chad Reed with 91 and Michael Rocco with 81. Carmichael was also at the top of the THQ World Supercross GP leaderboard with 172 points, followed by Michael Rocco with 143 and Nick Way with 136. Last year in Indianapolis, Michael Rocco won the 250 main event in front of his hometown crowd. This season, an RCA Dome repeat would require the Supercross veteran to clear an extra hurdle, a healthy, surging Ricky Carmichael. When the gate dropped on Indy's main event, Eric Vallejo charged ahead of the pack to get the hole shot, only to stall out in an early turn and be rear-ended by Tyler Evans.
It was Eric Vallejo on the number 57 machine, but he's not able to triple. He's got bikes all over him, and Eric's getting taken wide in the first corner, and Evans goes down, piling into him.
Carmichael then inherited the lead, followed closely by Chad Reed, Ernesto Fonseca, and Kevin Windham. As Windham was battling Fonseca, RC was quickly building a sizable lead. After passing Ernesto, Windham settled in behind Chad Reed for control of 3rd. Despite some late race maneuvering by David Villemin and Ernesto
Fonseca able to hold off Villemin as they come in his corner hot, and it's Villemin who rides the blue into the red fiber.
The podium remained locked in until the finish. Even early in the season, Mount Carmichael already seemed insurmountable. But while remaining realistic, defending AMA champ Chad Reed had no intention of letting up.
We're here in San Diego, hanging out on your dirt bike, where you belong, where you love to be.
Yeah, hanging out, just trying to make this thing happen. It's, if you had asked me, put a bet on, 6 races deep in a season, would I have a race win or not have a race win, I would have took that bet any day and believed that I could have won. And it's been tough. We've had some ups, we've had some downs, and just got to stay strong. And, worked real hard this week with the team, trying to work on some little things that I feel like can be better, and that's it. That's what we can do.
Now, since you've been in America, you've made it look really easy. You came out, you've dominated the 125 class, you dominated the 250 class since you've been in it. Now we're seeing a different side of Chad Reed. Do you feel like you're really learning a different side of racing? I am,
and right after Phoenix, I knew that things were going to be tougher this year for me, and I've been working on it, and it's tough. Things have always came. It's like you want something so bad, and for some reason it's always been able to happen and be right there. But right now it's there, but it's not. So it's kind of hard, trying to wrap my hands around it and get a hold of it and try to make things better.
So in your mind, what do you think is stopping you, and what's taking you so long to get a win this year?
I think just just little things, a lot of things that compound each other, and some little things during the off season that happened that wasn't in our favor, but they're the things that we're faced with, and you got to make it better. And it's tough to change things during the week, during the season, but everybody here is willing to do that, and I'm trying to put my best foot forward and win for everyone.
Well, everybody knows that Ricky Carmichael is pretty much unstoppable, unbeatable. He's the best that the sport has seen, and you're out there having to battle him now every week.
It's Carmichael and Reed out in
front.
But then here comes Reed up the inside.
Oh,
Gives Reed a love bump.
Ricky Carmichael, Chad Reed out front. This is the battle we were waiting for.
Where do you feel that Ricky is so much faster than most of the field, but in your eyes, where is he better right now?
You know, one thing that he's better on is in turns. And, I think just little things that I can improve on that will make my life a lot easier. You know, I don't think Ricky is unbeatable and invincible. You know, he rides on the edge. We all know that.
So Carmichael comfortably out in front with more of a 15-second lead, and just as we say that, Cameron, he almost throws it away.
You know, every time we watch video or something, it's like, you know, maybe if there was just 2 more whoops, he'd go down. But for the last 3 years, I've been around people that have been saying that. And Ricky Carmichael does not crash. You know, it's one of those things, and if he crashes, he bounces right back up, and he's fine. You know, I want to race him. You know, I love to race Ricky. He's a great athlete. He puts his best foot forward every time, and to beat him and to get on top of that podium when he's there is a great feeling.
Well, if you haven't already heard, in the off season, yes, ladies, he got married. Bling bling, he's taken now. How has that changed your life and affected you?
I mean, my life didn't change, which is a great thing, because you know, you marry a person for a reason and you don't want it to change. And it's been a lot of fun, and it's funny, we kind of have a little bit of a joke between me and Ellie. And since we got married, I haven't won a race.
I know. I didn't want to say anything, but
and,
yeah, that's right.
It's been tough. You know, I went to Australia right after I got married. I won the first 2 races. The second race, we had a little bit of a misfortune. I wasn't able to win the race. And, you know, since being back here in the States, I haven't won a race. So, you know, week in, week out, it's like it's a little bit of a joke. But, you know, it's got nothing to do with that. I love Ellie, and she's a great person, and she's a huge part of this.
Thanks for talking with us.
No problem.
Things I'm sure will turn around, and it's just amazing to see an athlete like you always pushing and always wanting to be better, not settling for second.
No problem. Thanks for talking, and hopefully see 2-2 on the podium, the #1 spot soon.
Chad Reed, number 22.
And welcome to San Diego, California for the 2005 THQ AMA World Supercross GP and the THQ AMA Supercross Series. So it all comes down to this at Qualcomm Stadium, the 250 main event, as we take a look at the Suzuki starting grid. Chad Reed, Ricky Carmichael, they're all here, Cameron, but Ricky did not have the best gate pick.
He definitely didn't. 9th gate pick is the way he came to it. Definitely an advantage for Chad Reed, who had the first gate pick, and it's also a psychological advantage, I'm sure, for Chad Reed. We know Ricky is tough as nails, though, and he is going to be coming both guns blazing.
There's Jeremy McGrath. He qualified, no problem, got 4th place in his heat race. Kevin Windham also had a very strong one, and Chad Reed a winner in his heat race. So Carmichael back with the helmet cam once again as the 32nd board goes vertical. And I'll tell you what, Cameron, despite having a 9th place pick on the gate, Ricky's still in pretty good company.
Well, his whole shot in his heat race was pretty amazing. He had a huge jump. We'll see if he can do the same here in the main event, and definitely don't want to see the same crash. They're getting ready to go.
32nd board is sideways. It's the 250 main from San Diego.
Oh, and Chad Reed looks like he spun it to start.
It's McGrath getting the whole shot out in front with Carmichael settling into 2nd place. Kevin Windham in 3rd. Chad Reed, Cameron, you picked up on that. It looked like he slipped something. But it's McGrath and Carmichael.
Oh, looking over at each other.
Is this the official passing of the torch or what? Carmichael and McGrath, 1 and 2, 250 main from Qualcomm.
And you see Ricky Carmichael grabbing that tear off. Now, if you're Ricky Carmichael, you certainly hope that's the last tear off you need to grab until you start catching lappers. And MC is brilliant with his lines and protecting his lines, but we'll see if he can keep the other riders at bay. He has had the speed this weekend, but Chad Reed is on fire right now.
Here it is one more time. The Carmichael salute. Nice.
Carmichael pointing over to the king.
Nice camera work too, Ricky. He is out in front. McGrath sits in 2nd place, and here comes Chad Reed. What do you think it would mean to the folks here at Qualcomm to see Jeremy McGrath on the podium as Chad Reed goes to the inside, has the drive and passes him? Windham. Oh. Carmichael, Reed, and McGrath, but Jeremy McGrath still in a podium position.
Well, they go absolutely bananas with McGrath on the microphone with the podium. We'll see if he can hold it together. He says he's been working on his trainer. Remember, he was sore. His ribs were sore from that crash at Anaheim 3. Didn't go to Indianapolis. Back here tonight, been looking quite good, and we'll see if he can hold it together for a podium. The real question is, Chad Reed and his speed, can he catch up with Ricky Carmichael? And McGrath has some problems in the Cobra, David Villeman. These guys have done some battle over there. See, look at that. Just going to the inside, taking the line, but McGrath has the momentum, and now the inside in this next corner.
Jeremy McGrath passing back David Villeman. Villeman this time goes to the inside.
And McGrath protecting, going inside there.
Here comes Villeman again. They are staying right here. And here comes Kevin Windham. So David Villeman has maybe left himself open to Kevin Windham. And Wyndham's got a great drive to the whoops. Villeman inches ahead of him. And McGrath stays out in front of both of them.
Tight racing action. See Kevin Windham not using that rut like everybody else is. Electing to go a little bit outside and then in.
Jeremy McGrath staying out in front, but Kevin Windham gets past David Villeman.
And Villeman maybe looking forward and not seeing him back. And this is a heck of a race right here. Look at these guys. And keeping it clean.
Some of the best racing we've seen all year right here. This is the battle for third place. Number 2 is Jeremy McGrath. Number 14 is Kevin Windham. Number 12 is David Villeman. Interchangeable right now.
And Windham trying to go that outside line. Villeman taking him high, though. And now we got another bike. Pete Voss on the number 13 sneaking into the picture as well.
Meanwhile, Ricky Carmichael maintains a fairly sizable lead, coming up at about 5 seconds on Chad Reed. But it is Heath Voss now gaining the fray. So it's 12 and 13, Voss and Villeman. You gotta be kidding me. Meanwhile, Jeremy McGrath staying out in front, and Mike LaRocco's in there now. Look at that.
And Tortelli in the picture now.
I got to give a shout out to Jeremy McGrath, Cameron, because he is technically, in his own words, he is part-time racing, and he is running 20 strong laps as we approach the halfway point. He's still running in the top 5 as Heath Voss shows him a little bit of tire, and he pays the price.
Jeremy shuts him down, but Michael Byrne on the outside on the Kawasaki looking like he's going to make that pass.
Burner getting by a lap rider, that's 782, and McGrath will say, I'll take that spot as well. So Michael Byrne now has moved up 3 positions. Jeremy McGrath says Sebastian Tortelli is moving in, and Heath Voss unable to figure out that situation. Mike LaRocco also on the move as he advances forward. As we go through one more time, it's Carmichael, Reed, David Villeman now sits in 3rd, Mike LaRocco in 4th, and Jeremy McGrath in 5th, after he actually 6th after he dropped behind Michael Byrne. Here comes Windham. Oh! McGrath sandwiched momentarily as Tortelli on the inside. Windham trying to get around him on the outside, and the crafty veteran says, I don't think so, boys.
And yeah, Tortelli mistiming that rhythm section. Still able to get through that triple.
You think a lot of guys have underestimated Jeremy, thinking that he's been out of the sport for 2 years. I'll be able to pass it for old time's sake. McGrath certainly still has something there.
Oh, definitely. And as his training gets better and better, he gets more adaptive, riding the 20 laps for the main event. Right there, just not able to get that triple again. I'm not sure if it's the line he's choosing, but both times he was on the right line, and a rider on the left was able to get right by.
Tell you what, Chad Reed is closing in. He's got this thing down to about 3 seconds for Ricky Carmichael.
And that last lap, Ricky Carmichael with a 53.0, Chad Reed with a 51.6, so a second and a half faster. And that's all. That could be due partially to lappers. Look at Ricky Carmichael's going to come up on 2 very fast lappers right now, and you see he's got to start picking lines around him and his teammate right in front of him, but that's also Michael Byrne. Can you believe
Byrne,
this?
Sebastian Tortelli, they got to be thinking, you got to be kidding me.
Tortelli almost takes out Carmichael in the whoops.
Tortelli gets back into the traffic. Now he got passed by Michael Byrne. He got off track, and that has got Chad Reed closing in. Chad Reed is only about 2.5 to 3 seconds down from Ricky Carmichael. Unfortunately for Chad, though, he has got to get through some lappers. He does that. Carmichael now out in front. Let's watch this one more time.
Look at this. He's poised to go past Tortelli, and look at him come across. Ricky's like, ah!
And it's his teammate.
These guys are moving through very fast lap traffic, and the advantage that Chad Reed has is that Ricky Carmichael is catching the lappers first, and they don't know that he is there. Once they see that Ricky Carmichael is passing through lapping, they have a tendency to look over their shoulder and look for that second place rider and make room. We saw it with the Michael Byrne pass. He looked back after Ricky went by and let Chad by easier.
Unbelievable that Kevin Windham just got a faster rider coming through flag. Ricky Carmichael is set to pass Kevin Windham in 5th, and he has to slow down. Windham takes a look over. He gets back into it, but Chad Reed is close that much. Chad Reed now down by less than 2 seconds. So Ricky Carmichael out in front by just over 2 seconds on Chad Reed. Ricky, a slight bomb right there as he comes to the corner. Look at the lap times. They continue to come down for number 22, Chad Reed. And watch him scrubbing that speed as he comes through. I think Ricky now has gotten the message. Chad is closing in and closing in fast. When they come around this next time, the white flag will be out. This is the 250 main from San Diego. Can Chad Reed get a run on him here in the woods?
Well, 4th place, Michael Rocco is just ahead, as is David Villeman.
And there's 3 riders right in front of them. This could cause problems for Ricky. The white flag is out. It's the final lap of the 250 main. Quite possibly the closest race. Look at this. Chad Reed only 10 feet down.
Oh, and Ricky Carmichael keeps the momentum in the whoop. But now remember, these next 2 riders ahead of him are 3rd and 4th place. You gotta be kidding me. They're not gonna be letting someone go by that easily. They're trying to work around.
Chad Reed puts it tight. Reed gets in tight, shows him a wheel, and Reed gets the lead. So Ricky's got half a lap to get around the lap riders and Chad Reed, and it's Chad Reed who goes to the front. What an amazing turn of events. David Villeman now slows him down.
Takes him high, his own teammate takes him high. Villeman's like, I'm in 4th place, I'm getting lapped.
Chad Reed brings it down to the woods. Ricky's got a great drive. Oh, Carmichael's down. Carmichael throws it down, pushing too hard. Chad Reed brings it around. The checkered flag in the wind. Chad Reed, your winner in San Diego. And what does that do for the title? As Ricky's able to remount his bike and come on down. And unbelievable, he has not turned it around yet. He is still in 2nd. I think right now, Cameron, he is thinking, what did I just do? But he had such a big lead on everyone else, and Chad was just coming through. I talked to Ricky earlier, Cameron. He said the most important thing is I protect my championship. Right now, he just opened the door big time. The worst thing I think he could have done was give Chad Reed a breath of life.
After San Diego, Ricky Carmichael led the AMA Supercross Series with 167 points, followed by Chad Reed with 138 and Michael Rocco with 119. Carmichael was also at the top of the THQ World Supercross GP leaderboard with 222 points, followed by Michael Rocco with 187 and Nick Way with 148 points.
We are in Jeremy McGrath's house, Anaheim Stadium, with the man, MC. He's back racing this year, but it's part-time, Jer. So what made you, after 2 years, come back to racing?
I think most of all, I mean, I missed it. I missed being out here at the races, and you know, I've grown up my whole life being around here. People might say, you know, you just need to retire the right way and just stay away from it completely when you're done. But I tell you what, that's the hardest thing in the world to do. And I mean, I love racing, and I was doing testing with Honda, and things were going well, and I was like, hey, maybe I could put together a limited schedule. So that's where we're at.
So now you're riding for Honda. So that's pretty much where your whole real 250 career began, was Honda. What made you come back to them and start this little deal?
When I retired, I actually went out and bought some Hondas, and you know, I made my mind up that whether I race or whether I don't race, I'm going to ride Hondas, and that's important to me. A lot of times the racers are busy, so you need a guy that can test some stuff, and you know, I still was riding a lot, so it kind of worked out really in my favor.
So coming into the season, did you have any idea where you were going to stand? How did you gauge if you were competitive still or not?
Coming into the season, I mean, all we did was just test at the track. I had no idea. The hardest part is the strength of the whole moto, and you know, I mean, I felt great at the Honda track, and things still continually are getting better. To be riding at where I'm at right now, I'm completely satisfied.
Now you're out there at the Honda track, you're working with the kids, the up-and-comers.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on the new influx of amateur riders? Do you think that their heart is where it should be?
Well, right now, I think that the Honda team has a really good group of guys. You know, of course, Ernesto has been on the team for a few years. Travis Preston's now on the factory team, and Andrew Short. So, great group of kids. You know, they're all younger, a little less experienced than some of the top guys, but you know, are very eager to learn. And you know, I think that's kind of what my role is not only to get out here and get my fill in racing, but to be able to be with those guys day in, day out at the test track. And you know, if I can offer any help or be of any help to them, then that's what I'm there for.
And Jeremy, of course, everybody loves his story. It's kind of the kid that just loved riding BMX bikes and turned racer, and you happen to be really good and you waited till later in life. We don't hear a lot of those stories in this sport anymore.
No, not really. I mean, you get the kids that are phenoms since they're really young, and factory bikes and factory carts and all this stuff the whole time. And I mean, my story is pretty unique, and I think that's kind of why my window has allowed me to go for such a long time. You know, there's only one other guy out here that's my age.
What advice do you have for the guys that are currently in contention for the championship?
Well, I mean, for me, Ricky, he's the man. I mean, he's won a lot. He's won more championships than anybody. He's won more races than anybody. The guy knows how to do it. So it's probably not a lot of advice that I could give him to help him. Chad, on the other hand, he's done it already one time. He's eager. He wants it really bad, and you know, I think he just needs to stay relaxed and not beat himself up. I mean, Chad's an amazing rider, and everybody knows that. On the other hand, Windham, you know, he's had his struggles, and he's kind of made some of those mistakes that he's made in the past, and you know, he's a little hard on himself too. So we all know Kevin rides phenomenal when he's not thinking about it too much. Yeah. So hopefully he can just relax on himself and put a good last half of the season in here.
Whose idea was it to put the part-time on your helmet? He always has the best helmets in the business, that's for sure.
Yeah, I think it was my idea. I mean, part-time, me and my friends, my neighbor, we were just, you know, usually it's showtime, and this time it's part-time, and everyone's kind of getting a kick out of it, so it's good.
What was it like for you? You came out your first couple of races back, and you're leading your heat races. What was that like?
Well, I mean, the mud race alone, to get in the lead like that was amazing, and then just to throw it away was a perfect rookie move, you know. Phoenix, for me, was a round where it was the first dry race for me in 2.5 years, and I really didn't fight that hard for my position there. I just kind of wanted to find my position, and it's building blocks, you know. I might not have 20 laps in me right now, but, you know, getting that fifth sure gave me the itch to get stronger and, you know, get some more endurance out of myself and push harder, because, you know, I ran third for 12 laps, so I think my speed's there. I just need to make it so I can last.
And who could forget how loud the fans were cheering? It was like electric in here, sold-out stadium, and people just saw their man, MC, back where they remember you, where your last win was actually here.
Yeah, well, you know, it felt just like old times. You know, when I got, especially at Anaheim 1, when I got in the lead, it just felt like I never left. So it was a cool feeling, and to hear the fans like that, and you know, people are so quick to forget, and you know, my fans, they haven't forgotten, and that makes me feel good.
Welcome to the Georgia Dome in downtown Atlanta, Georgia for the 2005 THQ World Supercross GP and the THQ AMA Supercross Series. As we take a look at our starting grid, the Suzuki starting grid, Ricky Carmichael, Chad Reed, they had a classic battle last week in San Diego. Will it happen again? Travis Preston with a tremendous performance. Also, Kevin Windham, as Cameron pointed out, third fastest practice time today. And the rest of the players taking part in tonight's 250 main event. 250 main event from Atlanta, off and running. Fonseca gets a great ride, but Chad Reed out in front. Can he hold the line? Carmichael just to his left. It's Chad Reed who picks up the Butterfinger Chris Polshot Award. Carmichael's got a great drive as they both hit the triple. Oh my.
Carmichael had the inside line, played a little safe. Look at Chad going in to protect. Ricky Carmichael, Chad Reed out front. This is the battle we were waiting for.
Well, Chad Reed had an incident, remember, Cameron, back in Anaheim where he led a few laps and then he just open the door wide open for Ricky and let him through. I don't think that's going to happen this week after that huge performance in San Diego. Ricky having a few bobbles there for the whoop section, and it's Chad who gets through cleaner.
Well, what we have to do is let's watch the lines where the riders, for these two guys, someone is faster in one spot, someone's faster in the other. See where they play cat and mouse a little bit, see if there's an open line. I expect if Ricky has a line, he will shove the wheel in right away on Chad.
Your leader, Chad Reed, number 22, on board the Yamaha. Behind him, number 4, Ricky Carmichael, the current points leader, sits in second, and Kevin Windham, number 14, on board the Honda, currently sitting in third, but all eyes are out in front. Chad Reed has the lead as he comes through, and watch Ricky Carmichael this time. I watched him at practice, Cameron, down in this next corner, and he was really protecting the inside. Maybe he learned his lesson from last week in San Diego. Look how hot he comes into it that time.
And Ricky electing to jump into the whoops where Chad went in, skimming. Interesting, because I watched Ricky in practice, and when he was skimming, he was coming out of his line just a little bit. So maybe he's electing a different area. Oh, look into the inside.
Wheel. Chad Reed takes a look over quickly, sees exactly where Ricky is, and he knows he's going to be there all night long.
And the track has gotten beaten up. Look at Ricky going to the inside once again. Seems to favor that, but they're both getting this triple here. I think Chad's carrying more speed going through that section.
I think you're right. Now here's the whoop section. Chad has been cleaner, blitzing it. Ricky's been skimming him. That time pretty much equal, and Chad comes out in front again. Darren Sorensen working with Chad Reed and Mike Gosler working with Ricky Carmichael, both guys who know how to put together a great setup. And tonight, it looks like they've got the bikes dialed in. And that time, Ricky gets a better drive out of the corner, showing Chad a line. He gets to the inside. Ricky shoves him to the outside. Reed gets pushed out, and Carmichael takes over the lead.
Brilliant riding by Ricky Carmichael. Not only does he get the inside, but then he starts to press out on Chad and takes him wide so Chad can't get in that line. Oh, Ricky almost washing the front end.
As we catch our breath, Ricky Carmichael comes through one more time. It's Reed now sitting in second place, Carmichael in first, and here's the pass, Cameron. And Ricky's gone down. On that corner, Ricky just dumped it out. He washed out the front tire, and Chad Reed flew right past him, as did Kevin Windham.
So now Ricky with a huge battle ahead of him, because not only was Chad at his speed and in the game, Kevin Windham is now a heavy obstacle to get through.
Here it is again. Watch Ricky's, he goes up high, the watch the front just washes out.
Just starts to turn and wedges, and that loose dirt that we've talked about, Todd, you pointed it out. Sitting on top, no matter how much water they put on, it looked like it just, you can't get the drive and stick the front tire in so many of the corners.
Chad Reed is your leader. Ricky Carmichael now having his own private battle with number 14, Kevin Windham, and I guarantee Windham's not going to be easy to pass. Look at that. Oh, shoulder to shoulder, and Carmichael takes the lead. Wills himself past Kevin Windham, and I don't think that's going to sit too well with number 14.
Chad has about 5 solid lappers right in front of him. We're talking good riders, too. Keith Johnson's in there. Ryan Clark is in there.
Unbelievable traffic ahead of him. Chad Reed gets around 2 riders, so does Ricky Carmichael. On last count, Ricky Carmichael had the lead down to 2 seconds. So he has used those lap riders to his advantage, much like Chad did in San Diego last weekend, and Carmichael is coming in fast. The battle's getting too close. Pull the plug in the commercial. We're sticking with it. Here comes Carmichael.
And Carmichael pushing so hard in that section, you saw him wedge just a bit.
Well, Chad Reed has got the pressure, Cameron. I think he came around last time. The pit boards basically said he's coming. And so we'll see how Chad responds to Ricky Carmichael's pressure here in a very pressure-packed situation. Look at that. Carmichael dips in once again and shows him some wheel.
If Ricky can make this pass and go on for the win, how demoralizing will that be for Chad after having such a big lead?
Here is the corner, Cameron, where it seems that Chad gains it, and then Ricky seems to get it all back.
He does, and let's watch the techniques in the whoops. See what Ricky elects to jump in, and he's able to carry the speed.
There you see the intervals. He has trimmed 2 seconds in 4 laps. Now the lap situation is Tim Ferry and Tyler Evans just ahead of him. Unfortunately, they're just ahead of Chad Reed, so it's going to slow him down. Plays to the advantage of Carmichael. Do they move over quickly and let these guys resume the battle? Tyler Evans does just that. But look at Carmichael. He is all over the back of Chad Reed.
And you saw Chad sliding just a little bit going into the face of that finish line jump. That's the second lap in a row that he's done that. He's got to keep his traction and forward momentum. Obviously, doesn't want to give Ricky any chance to dive underneath.
Well, you talked about how demoralizing this would be for Chad if he loses this race to Ricky. Ricky setting him up one more time. Carmichael dives down, has the line momentarily, but Chad comes right back. Oh my, the crowd is on their feet. Over 60,000 strong. Carmichael gets a little squirrely there, but he saves it.
And Ricky is pushing hard, but it looks like he has the speed.
Oh, he wanted it. He wanted to put the wheel in right there, had to grab the rear brake. His back end slid around, so he dropped back another 15 feet, and he's moved back up again.
And you see Chad sliding just a little bit coming out of that corner. I think that at this point, Ricky Carmichael's ready to make a real dive. This is where he made the pass earlier, and look at him going to the inside and just taking
it again. Carmichael steals the line. Unable to keep the momentum up, but he gets the pass. Chad Reed, does he have anything left for Ricky Carmichael? You've got the defending champ and the all-time winningest AMA rider doing battle in Atlanta. Who will it be, Carmichael or Reed?
Well, 1 week off of winning for Ricky Carmichael seemed to send him into absolute turmoil. He was still cheery and happy to talk to people around the track, but you could tell that he meant business. And when I asked him, he said he was upset about the way it went last week.
No whip for Carmichael. He will not take a chance. Your winner, Atlanta, Georgia, Ricky Carmichael, your champion. Unbelievable performance with Chad Reed pulling up next to him in quite possibly the best race we've seen all year. They touch hands and they respect each other, no question about it. Certainly giving the fans what they want as Kevin Windham brings it through, and that is third place.
After his win in Atlanta, Ricky Carmichael had captured 6 first-place finishes out of a possible 8. They weren't without some level of controversy, however. Both Chad Reed and Kevin Windham were ruffled by Ricky's aggressive passes back in the Georgia Dome. After both riders qualified for their heat race, Windham pulled up next to Reed and laid some groundwork for the main event.
What did he say to you after the race when he pulled up? He just said, good race, and he actually said, let's go get Carmichael.
But it was not to be. In the main event, Carmichael blasted out of the gate, got the hole shot, and never looked back.
Carmichael, look at this, Jenny. How fast is this guy? He's not even a full lap down and already about a second and a half ahead.
After narrowly avoiding a near crash while blasting through the whoops, Ricky stayed on course and grabbed his 7th main event victory of the season. Carmichael was back on top, and just in time too, as the next stop on the Supercross roadmap was in his home state of Florida. But while his points lead was somewhat secure, he would have to keep a close watch on the return of his fellow Floridian, James Stewart.
Well, James, good to have you back. What have you been doing?
Nothing, just getting ready. A lot of rehab, trying to get my arm back in top shape. You know, the main thing for me was to come back healthy, and you know, I don't want any injuries bothering me. I got enough to worry about. I don't need nothing nagging, and just been doing a lot of riding and trying to get back and get strong.
What exactly happened? What'd you break?
I broke my left wrist, but my right radius. I snapped it in half, and was injured. That takes about 3 months to heal the bone back, 5 weeks. Kids, I ate my Wheaties.
Well, what have you been doing since then? I mean, you've been watching the races, watching Ricky and Reed?
I haven't really been doing that much. My weekends, you know, I ride, and then my philosophy, I don't like my parents, you know, video recording anything on the TV, you know, so, you know, not only because I'm not riding, but also I just don't like recording anything about racing, so I have enough racing tapes at my house to catch up on all that stuff, but they've been riding good, you know, it's going to be tough to get back out here and get on top, so I'm going to try it, though.
Well, I know this race is in Florida, and you know, kind of a neat place to be jumping back, because, I mean, you did 40 minutes from here.
Man, I got everybody here. My family's here. I mean, my hairdresser's here. I got everybody that you can imagine here, and it's cool. You know, it's good to be back in a place, you know, where you know you got all your fans here, and the people you know love you around here. So you know, I'm sure a lot of these people see me driving around town in my car and stuff. So it's cool.
How would this series be different right now
if you'd have been riding that night in Phoenix and ever since?
I think it'd be a little bit different, you know. It's hard to say because, you know, he's going fast this year. I mean, a lot of people say I don't have a lot of respect for the guy. I mean, I do. I mean, I don't mean I have to go hang out and have coffee with him, but I do respect the guy. He's good. So I can't say that it'd be different, but my philosophy, it'd be different. There wouldn't be a lot of runaways, I'll tell you that.
When you leave here tonight, what will be successful for you? Podium, victory, whole shot?
All of them, you know. To me, you know, I just want to, you know, have fun. You know, before I was letting the pressure get to me and letting them, you know, get all hyped up like I'm supposed to do this. But, you know, I got a long career and stuff, and, you know, a podium or a win would be good for me. Actually, a win would be good for me. I'd be pumped up. You know, I can't ask for too much. Like I said, it's my first race back. I've been off. These guys were getting fast that year ago, so a good stuff would be good for me. Somebody gets stuff tonight.
Last question. A lot of fans love those dances you do when you're around the 125. We haven't got to see one on 250. Can we expect one?
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. If I win, you guys can grab me off the track, and I'm dancing all night long. It's going to go from the bomb, the sprinkler, the worm, whatever you want. I'm doing it. They have posters up. James, do the sprinkler. I'll hit it for you if I win. They're going to come get me, I'll tell you that much.
Ricky Carmichael, there he is, 25 years old, Clearwater, Florida. This is his home state. The fans are cheering for him. They want him to win. There's somebody else, though, in the picture from Florida. He's a Floridian. He's making his 250 debut in the main event, and that is James Stewart.
If I'm not mistaken right now, did Chad Reed just pull back from the start line after his parade lap?
I may have. We'll have to take a look. Look. All right, Bubba's looking back. That is right. That's our onboard camera. David, you got something?
Yeah, it looks like we got Darren Sorensen down there. They're working on the bike. It looked like they were going to pull the spark plug. There might be something in his fuel. The AMA gives more than 2 minutes in situations like this, in case you're wondering. The old rule was 2 minutes and they started, but they're going to do their best to give him a good amount of time. They won't wait all night. So as you can see, the Yamaha mechanics are on the gas trying to figure out what is wrong with this bike.
There's Chad Reed, had mechanical difficulties on the starting line. It looked like a power valve problem. They have corrected the situation. They gave him a little added time there, Denny, but boy, talk about messing up your head.
Man, you know what? This is probably one of the biggest races. He's got all the big boys, and Chad just quite did not need that. He's lined up next to Ricky Carmichael. Ricky almost had a smile on his face like, man, what is going on?
All right, Debo, 20-lap main event. Here we go in Orlando. Ricky Carmichael with a good start. It looks like Ernesto Fonseca, but it's lucky, maybe.
Did you see James Stewart right there? He was buried in the middle of the pack, and instead of worrying about going to that first turn and throwing elbow, he stops on a dime, hugs the inside barrel, and man, out front the whole shot. Wow, man, for being away from Stewart, that kid is so smart.
James Stewart in front. Kyle Lewis is going to take that Butterfinger Chris Whole Shot Award, but it's James Stewart leading Ricky Carmichael now. It looks like Windham back in third. Also Reed. We have the best field. The top four are the riders we've been waiting for.
This is exactly it. It's what we've been waiting for all year long. We've got all four major manufacturers. 1, 2, 3, 4. We've already seen that Stewart's the fastest guy on the track in a heat race. But can he do it for 20 laps?
Oh.
I don't know. He looked like he was sweating in that end of that 8 laps. Ricky makes a mistake, and look at Reed's right all over him.
Look at him closing in the gap there. Now Bubba's trying to separate himself. James Stewart's nickname is Bubba, and there's a lot of Bubba fans in the stands. And Chad Reed looks really good. Losing a little bit of rhythm right there. Just like in your do's and don'ts. Don't worry, though. You got to pick it back up.
Don't worry about it. Come right back. And just like that, Ricky's just looking uncomfortable. Kind of makes a mistake, but just like that, he just closed the gap all over James Stewart. Man, this is it. Now, in the heat race, it was completely rolled opposite. Stewart closed the gap real quick up on Carmichael and takes away. But now, Carmichael closes the gap up on 259.
Kevin Windham back and forth, not too far behind as well. They are the cream of the crop. There's no question about it. 250 Supercross. And now Reed closes in on Carmichael.
Okay, it's something we can see right now is this track is completely day and night different than what we saw in the heat races. The track was perfectly smooth, perfectly groomed in those heat races. This track is blown out. It is deteriorated. They have to race the track right now more than they can race each other.
Outside is Chad Reed. Watch out. He's trying to set up on the inside. Oh, cases it right there. If he cases it harder than that, he's going to fly off the end of the track.
You know what? I think maybe that Chad Reed's mechanical failure there at the beginning of the race, it could have probably been the best thing for him because all it did was clear his head. He thought about it, just got rid of everything that he was worried about after this heat race. Said, man, I just got to go out and focus on the track.
Onboard camera. James Stewart has won 125 Supercross championships, 125 motocross Supercross championships. He's not going to win a 250 championship this year, but he may win this race.
See, something I think that might be detrimental to Ricky Carmichael right now is if Reed stays all over him, Ricky will be unable to take the fastest lines he needs to. And he goes down just like that. He drops the front end of the rut and just folds, and he goes down. Oh, man.
And Carmichael's our points leader. Chad Reed was hoping something like this would happen. Carmichael, we see it 2 weeks in a row, a mistake where there was none in the first part of the season.
Well, right now, we talked about Ricky Carmichael's got Kevin Windham right in front of him. You know what happened in Atlanta? Ricky threw some elbows on Windham, and Windham said, it ain't going to happen again. I'll throw some elbows back. And Stewart just goes down to the ropes off camera. He drops the front end. There he is. He was blitzing down the middle through the rut. He drops and folds the front end, and down he goes and opens up the lead for Chad Reed. Oh, my goodness. Just what I thought would not happen. I thought James would be able to settle into his pace. But right now, I'm getting into it. He hasn't been racing. He's in the lap 8, lap 9.
He's shaking his head, didn't he? He knows it was a dumb move. Probably the toughest portion of the track for him, the whoops. The same whoops we saw him go down in practice. We saw right off the bat in practice having a tough time with that.
Ricky's trying to focus forward and go forward and go after Chad Reed because he's already reeled him in once this season. We saw it in Atlanta. In his mind, he can't see why he could not do it again.
How crazy is that? Kawasaki swapping in that rut. Now he's taking that washed out line. We looked at it during break, and you can see that that whoop section is cupped out. Ricky Carmichael closes in, but it's not going to be his win tonight. That win in Orlando will go to Chad Reed.
After Orlando, Ricky Carmichael led the AMA Supercross Series with 261 points, followed by Chad Reed with 232 and Kevin Windham with 190. Carmichael was also at the top of the THQ World Supercross GP leaderboard with 297 points, followed by Mike LaRocco with 247 and Sebastian Tortelli with 194 points. Despite his points lead, the chinks in Ricky Carmichael's armor were beginning to show. Chad Reed had taken full advantage of Carmichael's shakiness and claimed main event wins in the last 2 rounds. To add to Carmichael's woes, rookie phenom James Stewart had returned to the sport with a splash, appearing on the podium for the first time ever in his young 250 class career. The Dallas main event was definitely up for grabs. As the gate dropped, James Stewart hustled in front of the pack for the hole shot.
Another hole shot by James Stewart. That bike is hooking up.
James Stewart right there. You see Ricky and him battle side by side down the start straightaway, going to the first turn. Chad Reed throws an elbow on Windham, Ricky Carmichael moves him out of the way, and he's not worried about Ricky right now. He's setting his sights on that 259.
Meanwhile, Carmichael and Reed waged a fierce battle for second place behind Bubba.
Reed makes the bobble this time. Now it's Carmichael with the incentive.
By the 6th lap, Reed had finally passed Carmichael and began to increase his distance. Thanks to the second place battle between Ricky and Chad, Stewart had grown a substantial lead by mid-race.
The 259 of James Stewart is in front by about 6.5 seconds.
Late in the main event, Carmichael got an unexpected gift from Chad Reed.
Just like that, Travis Preston clipped his front end and Chad Reed goes down.
Reed remounted to finish 3rd behind Carmichael, but the big story was the man who stood atop the podium in Dallas.
And it looks like it's 2005. James Stewart wins his first ever 250 main event. The crowd is on their feet. History has been made. James Stewart wins in Dallas.
James Stewart had just won his first 250 main event of his career.
As we welcome you inside the Silverdome in Pontiac, Michigan for the THQ World Supercross GP and the THQ AMA Supercross Series. We have got a star-studded gate tonight in the 250 main event from Pontiac as we take a look at our Suzuki starting grid. The man with the fastest time all day long, James Stewart Jr. on board his Kawasaki number 259. Kevin Windham checks in, as does Ricky Carmichael and Chad Reed. As the 32nd board goes sideways, it's the 250 main from Pontiac.
Windham with a great jump out of the center. He's going to go into that first corner first, and also important, we talked about the start.
Carmichael gets a good run on Chad Reed. They go to the triple together. Carmichael goes to the outside. Can he get around Reed? Not yet, but he's got James Stewart just on the backside. Look at Bubba railing to the outside.
Watch to see if Bubba goes for the triple. Chad is blocking. Bubba going by Chad. Look at, Bubba clipping those edges, going too fast.
Meanwhile, Ricky Carmichael gets the pass on Reed, so it's Windham, Voss, and Carmichael, your top three. Look at Bubba getting a run on Chad Reed. Chad Reed, quite possibly the smoothest rider out there. And as soon as I say that, he opens the door just a little too much, and Stewart slides on through.
Now we'll see what Ricky decides to do. Remember, he is basically in clinch the championship position. I mean, he is the guy way out front in the points. A whole race separates him from Chad. He does not need to race with Bubba Stewart, who has been out for an extended period of time with an injury.
Carmichael gets a good drive as they go over the tunnel. Carmichael's on the outside, Voss the inside, and here comes Stewart trying to split up. Stewart to the inside. He almost shuts down Ricky's line, and Ricky just doggedly would not be denied. Carmichael gets the pass, and Stewart slides back. Voss now separated right in between them.
And James looking for that line, and Voss basically giving the door to James.
Didn't want to
behind him like, what the heck is that all about?
So Carmichael and Stewart have the best battle going right now, but I got to give props out to Kevin Windham. He checked out and Stewart goes down.
We talk about that loose dirt on top, and it looks like the wheel just washed on him. He was committed to the inside, and the wheel just turned out from underneath him.
So Stewart slides back. He will lose 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 positions. He goes from 3rd to 10th, and he's got a lot of talent in front of him. There's your leader, Kevin Windham, number 14. He is out in front. Ricky Carmichael sits in second as Windham gets squirrely momentarily. He saves it, but that is going to bring Carmichael that much closer. There you see the lead. Carmichael has brought it in within 20 yards as they're in the same turn, but for Ricky Carmichael, it doesn't get any easier because Chad Reed now is flying on the outside.
Oh, this is quite a development here. 3 monsters of Supercross all together. James Stewart trying to work hard to catch back up to this pack, but he is way out of the picture right now. A full straightaway plus. Remember, Ricky Carmichael riding with that hematoma on his stomach. Got to be a fact, but Ricky, the true champion, putting him behind him, racing hard and fast. And here comes Reed to the inside.
Whoa, Chad Reed with a very smooth pass brings Ricky Carmichael almost to a dead standstill. So it's Windham, Reed, and Carmichael. That is not going to set well with Carmichael. Kevin Windham, number 14, your leader. Number 22 on board the Yamahas, Chad Reed. And number 4 on the Suzuki is Ricky Carmichael. Chad Reed may be the smoothest rider on the circuit right now, no question about it. But Ricky Carmichael may be the most determined and dogged rider out there. No one outworks Ricky Carmichael.
And Chad Reed going to that outside, hopping on. Let's see if the hop off. He's got the momentum.
Nice. Windham has the inside line. Can he hold it? Reed pulls up short. Reed slides to the inside line. Through the whoops they go. Windham around the corner. He'll maintain his position. But Ricky Carmichael closes in now on Chad Reed.
But Windham and Ricky had the good line of the whoops. You saw Chad tried to go into a different line to make the pass.
But I like what Chad is doing here, Cameron. He is not sitting on one comfortable line. He is trying some different things, really mixing it up, and that's got to be getting in Kevin Windham's head.
Well, for sure. And Kevin, he's been around forever. Smart rider. He knows how to keep a rider behind him. But Chad Reed, unbelievably determined. Look at the run through the whoops. Both riders going good. Let's see what happens. This is where Reed's been trying to make his move on the step off.
Reed, step on, step off. They both hit the triple at the same time. They come out even, but Kevin Windham once again has the inside line. He comes in tight. Chad Reed pushes him.
Took Reed wide. Good move by Kevin Windham there.
And all that does is bring Ricky Carmichael that much closer. But I got to give Chad a lot of credit. He is racing the race in front of him, not worrying what's behind Ricky Carmichael. It is Windham, Reed, and Carmichael, 1 through 3 with 7 laps to go. So it's Windham doing a fantastic job of holding off 2 of the best in the business. Reed this time goes to the inside, Windham to the outside, and this time I think Reed has the line. No, Kevin Windham comes right back.
And Reed was smart. He tried to fill that line.
Welcome back to Pontiac. It is Kevin Windham who is holding up Chad Reed. Just moments ago, Reed stuck a wheel in there, and this time Reed has the corner, squares it off, gets the pass.
And you saw Windham, he was smart about it. He did not try to get in the way because he knew that Chad had the line, could throw the block on him. This is the line that Kevin's been going to the inside. Been consistently faster to be on that outside line, although Kevin has been holding Chad off there for multiple laps.
Ricky Carmichael now pulling up on Kevin Windham, number 14. Carmichael goes to the inside, and Carmichael gets the pass on Windham. So it's Reed, Carmichael, and Windham, and just like that, Kevin Windham's fortunes have gone from gold to bronze. It's Chad Reed now moving up in front as he goes past number 23, Kyle Lewis, at the lap rider, and it looks like it's going to come down to this. Chad Reed and Ricky Carmichael for all the marbles, and Cameron, I think Ricky just shifted out of defensive mode. He's looking for the top of the podium. Chad Reed just took a look over his right-hand shoulder just to check and find out if Ricky was there. He is. The checker flag is out. It's the Thunder from down under, dominating Pontiac for the third year in a row. Chad Reed picks up the victory. Ricky Carmichael will go to second, and Kevin Windham will grab third in one of the best races we've seen all year long. James Stewart put on a dominating display after he dumped the bike in a corner, dropped back to ninth. Stewart will finish in fourth place.
Seattle had been without Supercross for over 5 years, and up until now, the early international round in Vancouver was as close as a series came to Washington State. But that would all change with a late season stop at the brand new Quest Field. Ricky Carmichael's last foray into the Northwest netted him a victory at Vancouver's BC Place, solidifying him at the top of the points lead of the World Supercross GP title chase. Since then, he had never relinquished his lead, and no one had even been close to catching him. Since his main rivals, Reed, Windham, and Stewart, skipped the Canadian rounds, they were ineligible to compete for the world title. In rainy Seattle, Ricky had his chance to mathematically secure his first ever World Supercross GP championship. The fireworks began early as James Stewart, Kevin Windham, and Chad Reed came together in the first turn, catapulting the defending champion's bike clear over the berm to the concrete below. Stewart aggressively claimed the hole shot, followed by Ricky Carmichael and David Villeman.
Well, you see Reed, he's on the outside. Wyndham's got the inside line. James Stewart just knocks Chad Reed, gives him a good one. I mean, check this out. Looks like Windham gets into Bubba, Bubba gets into Chad, and Chad gets off the track.
Here's one more time. Kevin Windham kind of stacks it up, and he looks like he catches the back of 259, James Stewart.
By the time Reed remounted and got back on the track, he was in dead last. Despite the ruts and the rough spots, Stewart ate up the slowly drying Questfield track and increased his lead to over 10 seconds by mid-race. At the same time, Chad Reed was riding like a man possessed, picking off riders until he had risen to fourth place behind Windham, Carmichael, and Stewart. With only 2 laps to go, there was no catching James Stewart, but Kevin Windham, determined to finish the night ahead of Ricky Carmichael, finally passed RC to move into second place. By the time the checker flag had dropped, James Stewart had collected his second win of the season. Kevin Windham had bested Ricky Carmichael on the night, and Chad Reed had risen 16 position in only 10 laps. And amidst all this excitement, a new champion had been crowned. Ricky Carmichael had won his first ever World Supercross GP championship.
Well, another champion has been crowned. This time it's Ricky Carmichael is the World Supercross champion, the THQ World Supercross #1 plate. John Gallagher is here to do the honors.
Ricky, on behalf of the FIM, this is 14 wins you did this year, and we're very happy to award you the #1 plate. You're a world champion. Thank you very much.
Congratulations, Ricky. What does this mean to you?
It means a lot, I tell you. It hasn't sunk in. I didn't expect it this weekend, and especially with the conditions, but I'd just like to thank Clear Channel and the FIM for this great opportunity. A world champion, I've never had a world title, so really proud. I definitely have to thank Makita Suzuki and you know, the whole crew there for taking a chance last year when I was hurt, and it's amazing. I'm so happy, and I know it'll sink in tomorrow.
After Seattle, Ricky Carmichael led the AMA Supercross Series with 325 points, followed by Chad Reed with 295 and Kevin Windham with 246. Carmichael had clinched the THQ World Supercross GP Championship with 372 points. His closest competitors were Michael Orocco with 311 points and Sebastian Tortelli with 236 points. Even though the majority of Supercross victories in the second half of the season belonged to Chad Reed and James Stewart, Ricky Carmichael had made podium appearances in every single round. His consistent top 3 finishes, along with his early season dominance, once again put him in a position to clinch a championship. On the line in Houston was a title that Ricky had held 3 times before. Chad Reed's AMA Supercross Championship. But this wasn't the only story worth following. As expected, there was fallout from last week's chaotic hole shot that saw James Stewart and Kevin Windham jettison Chad Reed from the track. When it came time for Houston's main event, the hole shot held another surprise. It just wasn't the one fans were expecting.
Large margin, a bike and a half. Lucky Kyle Lewis with the hole shot. But there he is, Carmichael and James Stewart, second, third. Take Reed in the fourth spot, right number 22 on that Thor Yamaha.
Kyle Lewis's luck lasted until the second lap, when both Stewart and Reed passed him. After sneaking past Lewis as well, Ricky Carmichael set his sights on Chad Reed, prompting one of the best head-to-head battles of the season so far.
Ricky Carmichael showing him some there and getting right next to him on the triple. Ricky's got the line, Chad dives inside. We got a race going on.
Yes, we do. Ricky Carmichael goes for it again. You're looking on board.
Oh, it shuts him on the inside.
And seat bounce triples out of the turn. I mean, something tough to do. And Reed, hey, tell me he doesn't want this.
But realizing he had more to lose by racing aggressively with Reed, Carmichael let him go and settled comfortably into third. Late in the race, James Stewart had grown a sizable lead. James Stewart milked his lead all the way to his third checkered flag of the season. After being able to fend off Carmichael early in the race, Chad Reed finished second. But the man who finished third on the night was the most excited by far.
And he put all the money in the bank and a no-footed can to do it. It's been 23 years since Suzuki has won an AMA Supercross Championship. Carmichael does it here tonight.
Ricky Carmichael may have lost the battle, but he won the war as he collected the 4th AMA Supercross title of his career. But more than that, Ricky became the first dual champion ever in the sport of Supercross.
Guys, Ricky Carmichael was 2 years old when Suzuki won their last 250 Supercross Championship. Tonight, he is the man. He made the dreams reality. Here to do the honors of the #1 plate, Steve Whitelock from the AMA.
Ricky, 15 podiums, 7 victories. What a way to come back to Supercross. Congratulations for the AMA THQ Supercross Championship. Thanks a lot, boy.
And the 4th Supercross Championship on a 250. Ricky, you made it happen.
I did. You know, it's been a long journey. I didn't think probably anybody but my team and my crew around me thought that I could win this title. And you know what? I did it. And I got this #1 plate, and I'm happy. It was a great night. You know, I felt good in the main event. I put up a little fight there with Chad at the beginning, and yeah, I got by him, and then he kind of went in on me, and I just said, you know what? Go ahead, my man. It's all yours. I'm going to bring home the bacon, and that's what I did. I can't thank enough for Makita Suzuki for believing in me when I had my leg propped up last year, and I could be here all night. I'll keep it short for the people at TV. Thank you, all the fans, my sponsors. You guys are awesome. This is right here is what it's all about. Woo!
With both championships having been decided, the final round in Las Vegas took on the air of a grudge match. It was a chance for the best riders in the world to come together with nothing to lose. No meaningful points to earn, and nothing on the line, except bragging rights.
I think that Chad is really, really consistent. He's there, you know, every single weekend. He's a good guy to put your money on for 16 races. I think, obviously, one-on-one and talent-wise, Bubba's, you know, better. He's pretty young, and he's got some learning to do. But I will say, once he gets it figured out, the guys are going to have their work cut out for him, for sure. And I'm glad I just won all these races and titles, you know, before I had to race Bubba. But they both are unique in their own way.
I really honestly believe that Ricky was no different this year than he ever has. I mean, he came out swinging just like we all expected him to do. And this season was so tough to swallow because of the position I was in. And I never really felt like I was at my best. And he rode awesome, and I just felt like I never was able to challenge at the beginning of the season. And that was really tough to deal with, and to go home every week and know you had something to work on, whether it was your problem or not your problem, but there was always something to work on.
I wouldn't necessarily have figured out how to beat him every weekend. I know if I get out front, I have a pretty good shot on winning races. You know, I don't get tired or anything. I just kind of slow down towards the end. There's no reason to go any faster. So, I mean, I haven't really figured out how to beat him, but whatever I'm doing is working. You know, I just want to continue what I'm doing. I think the biggest thing to me is I get out front and I just ride around.
I think James is is fine. You know, I don't have any problem with James, and haven't really had any issues with him or anything like that. I felt that the race in Houston, the heat race, was a fun race. You know, I raced clean, he raced clean, and there was no, you know, egos or anything like that. I think the two of us are going to be competitive, and we both know that each other are going to be around for a long time. So, you know, we want to beat each other. You know, I'm really looking forward to it. It's the last race of the season, and you know, I think everybody's kind of making it out like the gloves are off. Everybody's going to come out swinging, and I don't know if that's going to happen. I think that everybody is really banking on a tough, you know, grueling outdoor season. And you may see some conservative people this weekend that may not, you know, want to say it, but that's how it may work out.
I mean, I don't feel like there's anything left to prove. I done won, you know, 3 out of last 4 races. You know, I done won, you know, pretty much all of them except for 2 since I've been back. So I don't have anything to prove. You know, I want to prove myself outside, and then next year for 06. So just want to go out and have fun.
The gloves are off. We're going to have a good time. But at the same time, you know, I want to have a great summer along with everybody else. I don't think any of us are going to do anything stupid, but I know that when I'm in a heated battle, and I'm definitely not going to think twice, you know, of doing what I have to do and worrying who's behind me. The last couple of races, I'm like going in turns, and I didn't want to go too far inside because I'm afraid somebody might hit me. And this weekend, it doesn't matter. If I get hit and fall, then I get hit and fall. I have nothing to lose. Basically, it's just bragging rights.
Welcome to Sam Boyd Stadium, Las Vegas, Nevada. It's the 2005 THQ World Supercross GP and the THQ AMA Supercross Series. It all comes down to this, the final race of the 2005 Supercross season, as we take a look at our Suzuki starting grid for the main event. Chad Reed, last year's Supercross champion, on top with Ricky Carmichael, this year's Supercross champion. Kevin Windham, Heath Voss, all kinds of talent out there. Unfortunately, no James Stewart. Cameron, once again, injury in Las Vegas will keep him out of the main event.
Well, Ricky Carmichael, 15 of 15 podiums this year, 7 wins, 4 Butterfinger Chris Pole Shot Awards, 2 titles. He's a bad man, but I'll tell you what, Chad Reed had the fastest times in the qualifiers, 1:07.0.
There's the quad split. Chad Reed on the upper right, Ricky Carmichael up the left, and on the lower left, K-Dub, Kevin Windham. Remember, Kevin Windham won this race last year. As we take a look at Cameron's keys, the 32nd board aside.
Your black track skills are important. Tire choice is really tough here. You got to be consistent on all the obstacles, especially the woods.
250 main event from Las Vegas is off.
And riders getting squirrely.
Carmichael's on the mix as they come down Thunder Alley. Into the stadium they come. Looks like Ernesto Fonseca, but he doesn't get the whole shot. It's number 20. Damon Huffman picking up the Butterfinger Chris Pole Shot, and Kevin Windham is in second place.
Team ECC Honda. Damon Huffman just missing out on the Privateer of the Year award, which went to Tyler Evans. Right now, he's got a mirror. Whoa! Got a mirror full of Kevin Windham, who's going to go right to the front.
So Damon Huffman's time at the front of the pack is short-lived as number 14, Kevin Windham, on board the Amstel Chaparral Honda, takes the lead. As we said last year, Kevin Windham came into this race very motivated, winning in Salt Lake City and then winning in Las Vegas. Unfortunately, it wasn't enough to give him the title this year. He sits in third place, but he will take them through the green flag lap. There's Chad Reed. His motivation, Cameron, he's thinking about the outdoor nationals and running with Ricky and Bubba and Kevin again. But if you know Chad, when he's on the line, he pulls the Scott goggles down.
There you go. For it. And Reedy also dropping a bit in the whoops, although not dropping as much as Damon Huffman. But right now, Kevin Windham has a blistering lead. Chad Reed needs to get past Damon Huffman, which he did. Now he's got to really get on with Heath Voss, but Heath Voss aboard that No Fear sponsored Yamaha is really moving right now, and Carmichael is back in the pack, running 6th right now. Chad Reed, look at this. Let's see what he does. Goes out, goes to the inside, and he's going to get his teammate.
Chad Reed using the flat track. Remember, he was in the X Games last summer doing a little supermoto, and it's coming back to pay off for him. So he gets past the former THQ World Supercross GP champion, Heath Voss. It is Kevin Windham out in front, and he's got about a 120-yard lead over Chad Reed. Ricky Carmichael, though, is starting to move up and do it gradually.
The timing just coming in on that lap, 4.4 seconds back from the leader. So Windham is being tracked down.
Chad Reed, like a Great Barrier Reef, can smell blood in the water in the form of Kevin Windham. Is Windham's fitness down? Is he starting to tire? Remember, these laps are over a minute long, and Chad Reed, who trains with Jeff Spencer, a Lance Armstrong guy, certainly knows a thing or two about fitness. But Chad Reed has closed it down and quick. I'm saying this thing is under 4 seconds. In 2004, Chad Reed had 10 Supercross wins. In 2005, he's only picked up 4. So he is looking for a 5th win here to take that bitter taste out of his mouth. Well, here's the replay one more time. There's Tyler Evans, and there's Kevin Windham, and Windham goes down. Kevin Windham has gone down in the whoop section. Just totally... Cameron, I don't know what happened there.
Strange.
And he can't get the bike started. He finally does, but the damage has been done. Kevin Windham trying to get back in the flow of the track, and Chad Reed has moved to the front. Here it is one more time. Kevin Windham, number 14, through the whoops.
Starts getting squirrely, and those whoops are very cupped out. Oh,
thank goodness for the tough blocks.
Brilliant night of racing for Chad Reed. I mean, he was catching Kevin Windham. Of course, you never know what could have or would have happened. And Kevin, unfortunately, go down, so we didn't get to see a possible epic battle for the front.
Really not a surprise, though, the way Chad has been riding.
See if we get a big whip or maybe a knack-knack here. There's the nap.
One more left-hand turn. Your winner in Las Vegas, number 22, the Thunder from Down Under, Chad Reed. So Reed picks up his 14th podium, 5th win. It's a little bittersweet, but Chad Reed goes out in style from Curry by way of New South Wales, Australia. Now living in the States. Congratulations to Chad Reed, picking up the victory in Las Vegas.
Ricky Carmichael had put the exclamation point on his return to Supercross, capturing not only the World Supercross GP title, but the AMA Supercross Championship as well. His name would go down in the record book as being the first and only rider to accomplish that feat in a single season. And while Ricky is adding to his legacy, there is surely enough room in the record book to accommodate the other superstars of Supercross. Chad Reed overcame a sluggish start to win more main events than any other rider in the second half of the season. After watching the balance of the season from the sidelines, James Stewart wasted no time in making his presence felt upon his return, collecting 3 main event victories in the 7 rounds he raced. And no mention can be made of the Supercross record book without bringing up Jeremy McGrath. Just the presence of the most celebrated rider in Supercross history had made an already exciting season seem just a little more magical. Add in the relentless drive of Kevin Windham, the staying power of Mike LaRocco, the steadiness of Frenchman David Villman, and a healthy Travis Pastrana, and it's evident that Supercross will be bursting at the seams with world-class talent for a long time to come. The story continues in 2006, when these same riders will once again go head-to-head in the toughest Supercross series ever. Their legacy will be written in dirt, kept alive in the minds of fans, and the record book will be there to capture it all.